I can't.
I'm just being honest with you.
It's too awesome, dude. That's what it is. You're just way too awesome. I'm just like, damn.
How many times you gonna say awesome in that, man? There was like 3, 4. Like,
Well, I have to like say awesome like a couple times, otherwise it just it doesn't get across.
it's doubly, triply awesome. But I do have to say, yeah, with the Don, man, playing PUBG with him. The last time we played, he comes in on the crew, and of course, he's not wearing any pants. Like his guy comes in no pants, like ever, right?
No pants.
So
I always go for like the biggest coat.
he inspired me though. He inspired
with
me,
no
man.
pants.
So I went into my customization and I kind of rocked the same gear and dude, I think we got a chicken dinner after that. I'm not sure.
It works. People don't understand. Like when you wear no pants in PUBG and you come around the corner like in a house, and people are like, "I got you," and they're like, "I got you." Oh, he's not wearing any pants. Like they freak out.
Yeah,
they don't know where to shoe. They don't know what to
Yeah, they
do.
can't hear you when you don't got no shoes. But damn, that's wild.
Yeah, the pants is no pants. That's a distraction.
Yeah, you shock them. What
You still wear a shirt. I mean, that's indecent.
I just got something really important to say right now, and that is to the chat. What is going on, people? Welcome to the pregame. And yes, we are talking about no pants in PUBG and how it is actually beneficial. I have converted, man. I will go in and get drop on the island, no pants, get my M16, and hopefully grab a chicken dinner. But
it's straight up tactical boxers is what I like to call it.
Yo, he says tactical everything, yo. Dude, if you guys have not played PUBG with the Don yet, you are definitely missing out. And it was cool because I had two unique experiences kind of clash together. It's PUBG with O Snaps as the Uber driver, and the Don on my squad as well. And oh my goodness, man, talk about memories. That is absolutely memorable right there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds memorable.
Yeah, well, speaking of memorable, I do have some gameplay as well. You guys, when the gameplay goes on, you got to check out the PUBG where me, Dirty J, we got caught in a really small town with no weapons. we went to go we went to go double team somebody because some dude came around the corner. He had no weapons either. So me and Dirty J were like, damn, we're gonna beat him down high school style. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, his boy comes around the corner with a machine gun. I'm like, holy crap. I start running around. Freaking O Snaps comes driving in to try to save the day. It gets crazy. And I am so glad I was able to capture that and put it on for gameplay today. Not only that, man, I'm really excited to show off Predator's gameplay as well. Because Pred, he reached back for some gameplay footage, man. Pred, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, man. Well, just to let everybody know, Pred is not feeling good, man. That flu, I guess, is kicking his tail right now. But, yo, Pred, do you know what gameplay I'm talking about? Man, you surprised me, like, right off the bat, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. They'll have to wait to see it when the show starts, though.
All right. So we're gonna keep them wanting more. But
man, someone rushes in to get that thumbs down right away.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. That's called interaction. Whether it's positive or negative, definitely interact. Hit that thumbs up. Share the link out, man. If you're a hater, share it out and say what a crap podcast this is. So this way other people can come check it out, and then they're gonna tell you.
So then other people can check out a craptastic podcast.
It sounds like a trap.
Even negative press is press.
Exactly, man. I live really close to New York, and the sports teams there. I mean, that's like the epitome of New York sports. Whether it's positive or negative, it's still press. So, yeah. Thank you for the thumbs down. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Guys, I've been playing Witcher 3. I played Witcher 3 yesterday and today.
The Witcher!
I gotta say, that game is absolutely gorgeous, yo.
Yeah.
I feel a little overwhelmed in terms of like switching magic and swords and all that good stuff when you're fighting, but I cannot deny, like when you're riding on your horse and you go up over a hill and the sun's rising and you get all those god rays and everything, reflection off the water. damn, that is a good looking game.
Damn.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Especially
you feel
with those
overwhelmed now.
X enhancements, man.
Yeah. You think you're overwhelmed now? Just wait till you start seeing all those question marks on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
So
Yeah.
I finally got everything done in Novigrad and Velen, except for the DLCs, and I think that's maybe about 13 to 15 extra, because some of those things are like level 34, and I'm a level 29, 28, 29 now. So I you know what I'm saying. So I can't really. I try to fight them, and it takes, especially if you try to fight one of them big ass sectoid thing, whatever the hell, the big ass bugs. They're huge and they're tough. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, they are,
like,
man.
Yeah,
Those
they're
things
tough.
are-
Yeah, so it's like
Wait, don't you eat those things in Oklahoma?
no. We have them out here in
Oh,
Oklahoma,
shit.
but, you
Yeah,
know
they
what I'm
got-
saying, because we're tough.
I mean,
And we fight 'em with
Oklahoma is
our
pretty
hands.
much The Witcher 3 with overalls.
Pretty much. I haven't seen a Griffin
Oh,
yet, but
shit.
yeah, that's pretty much. Okay, see us, yeah. But anyway, Thunder Up. Glad for putting damn near 150 burger on the Cavaliers. You know what I'm saying? That feels real good to me.
Damn, yo,
Yeah,
Cavs.
more.
For people who follow basketball, Cavs are slipping, man. Like, I've been watching. I get Fox Sports on Sling, and damn, like last time I saw, they lost like 8 out of 10, and they're not doing good, man.
No.
Well, they were also questioning Westbrook and OKC as well, so I don't
They've
know.
been up and down like what? See, this is the thing about OKC right now.
Yo,
is that, like, look,
you hear how fast he jumped in, man?
well, I had to because I didn't want to hear any more
Okay,
of your propaganda.
sucks.
So this is the thing,
They
like,
suck.
so the Thunder will go ahead and beat Golden State, beat the brakes off of them, and as you see, they beat the Cavs. They'll beat these contenders, beat Houston, and then they'll go lose to the Nets or to or to Charlotte. They'll lose to the world. They lost to the damn Suns. How do you do that? How do you beat Houston? And then you go and you beat this. I don't know. They're so inconsistent, but hey, man, as long as they keep playing and beating the big dogs, then we're gonna be in the playoffs.
Houston problems,
and
man.
so, hey,
Houston problems, yeah, for real.
So it is what it is, man. So, good stuff.
But on that note, I am pulling up the intro right now. I think we're gonna actually go in before 7:15. We're gonna actually I'm gonna try to get the intro in before 7:15. I feel like we're gonna have a great show tonight, and talking. There we go. There's the intro. So this way I get my clicks in before time now. I'm interested to hear about this whole Olympics thing, which we're going to get into with video games, and I'm interested to hear what the panel thinks about it. As usual, as the show goes on, I know I might not just point it out every time. I am not snaps here, but I do watch the chat. I do want to see what you guys think about, the topics that we bring up. We are going to talk about Mr. Booty and what he means to Xbox games as well. And, man, talking about positive Xbox news, there's a dev team out there called Playground, and man, I gotta ask the panel, because like when we get into it, they seem to be on fire right now, and it really looks good this year for gaming on Xbox and all the way around, man. There are a lot of quality titles coming out and stuff like that, so we want to get into the Xbox X enhancement for Forza Horizon 3. And of course that I guess you could say semi-certified rumor that Playground might be doing the reboot to Fable. So I don't know. On that note, you guys ready to check out the intro?
Rock that shit.
Oh, rock that shit. I like that. I might ask you to say that every week. Yeah. All right, let's go, people. What's going on, people, and welcome to another episode of The Next Podcast, guys. We have a crazy amount of topics to talk with you guys today. And of course, we have that star-studded panel. And I'm just going to jump right into it and do the intros. And I'm going to start with the man who is becoming a household name when it comes to YouTube gaming. You see him on Crossfire. You see him on Next. Basically, you see him all over the place. I am introducing my boy, Predator!
Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm a little sick today, so if I'm not as talkative as I usually am, that's why. I was kind of quiet last night on Crossfire as well, but I'm here, man. Let's get this shit rocking and rolling. I'm going to stick through it as much as I possibly can. So let's get this shit going.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. And Pred, your gameplay is first right now, and I gotta say, dude, it was a very pleasant surprise to see this game, full DX12 Unreal Engine, Fable Legends gameplay, man. Awesome job, dude.
Yeah, I pulled that out of the vault, man. I remembered I had it, and we were talking in chat before. I wanted to make sure we were able to use it, but yeah, I still have that one. I have another video I saved from back in the day. So if everybody didn't know what Fable Legends looks like, there it is right there. It's out on YouTube and some other channels as well too. So just Google it or look it up.
Yeah. For people who don't know, there was a chat in a DM where Don was like, "Oh, there's an NDA," and I'm like, "There isn't an NDA," and Pred's like, "Yeah, no, it's on other channels and stuff like that." So we actually came together to make sure, Pred didn't get in trouble for any type of gameplay. There is no NDA if you actually have gameplay kind of stored up from this game. Yo, share it out because the game looked beautiful. I know a lot of people didn't like the concept of what was going on and they wanted a traditional Fable game, but when it was all said and done, full DX12 and the game looked incredible when I got to play the alpha. Yeah, so
you know what? If we're wrong, Xbox going to get the flag, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm used to it. Well, on that note, let's introduce the next man, and you know what's coming because your lights just started flickering. You heard the voice. It is time to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring, the Don!
Hey, what's up, guys? No joke, if you hear gunshots and all of a sudden I stop talking, I probably just got shot. We have somebody at large in the neighborhood where I'm at, so I'm just kind of hunkering down low and doing the podcast, and hopefully no shots are fired.
He's coming to you live from a Utah bunker is what's going on right now, man.
You know, a bunker would have been a better idea because you can't really shoot through concrete, but you can shoot through wood in sheetrock. So that's actually what I'm surrounded by right now, unfortunately.
That's crazy, man. I didn't think that would happen in Utah, man. But like,
it's usually transient people. People that are going through from one state to the other because it's kind of like a state you have to go through to go to other states usually. So
oh, nice, man. So yeah. Watch out for hitchhikers in Utah is what he's trying to say, man. Yo, next on the list, he has just finished saving the world for the 49th time, and he's looking for number 50. He is the Angry Otter on the panel. I am talking Dark Optimus!
Hey, what's up, everyone? Glad to be here tonight, man. I'm ready to get into these topics and talk about some good ones, man. We got a good list of topics there.
I know. I think my favorite. Oh shit! All right, calm down, Dark. Man, I didn't even say anything. Why are you getting mad at me?
Because
yeah, we're just gonna let that roll.
I loathe K Mega with the passion of just wanting him to
Mega,
croak over in his chair.
Mega, one day we're just gonna do the podcast. I'm gonna ask questions, and you're just gonna do the Angry Otter for like an hour and a half. Yeah, I'm gonna set up a Dark Optimus interview, and that's what's gonna happen like the whole time.
Oh man, we can have Dark Otter on Devin the Gamer.
Ooh.
You know we can.
We're always looking for like a second gamer to be on.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can make those arrangements, right, K Mega?
Yeah. What do you think about
if you guys want me on, I'll definitely do it.
Nice, man.
He's not getting the joke.
I'll be angry about it. I'll be definitely angry about it, but I'll do it.
Okay, Megan, he's not getting the joke.
He's not getting the joke.
It might have flew over a couple of our heads.
I'm not gonna succumb to your jokes, damn it. I'm not gonna do it.
Dark, just smile and nod right now, man. It's all you can do. Just smile and nod.
No.
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 Well, we got to move on, man. I got to do the next intro here, and it is the man who seems to be starting a YouTube farm because he has a dolphin, he has an otter, and I guess the farmer is Darth Vader. But yeah, he is coming live from the 405. My brother K Mega.
What's up, everyone? What's going on? And just because I got to call the farmer, where you at? All right, anyway, so man, glad to be back as usual. I am so tired, man. I had to be at work at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I did the GRG podcast last night, and we went extra like 2.5 hours, and I only had like 2 hours of sleep. Oh God, I didn't get home until like what time? Like 3 o'clock. So yeah, man, I'm working on fumes, but you know what? Stay dedicated, baby. Stay dedicated. Hardest working YouTuber alive. Let's do it.
No doubt, brother, man. Yo, it is good to have you on. I like I said, when it comes to the panel, what I really love is the opinions of everybody on the panel, because everybody has their own opinion. They're not afraid to share it. And of course, you know, K Mega, from the beginning, he has been one of the most opinionated people on this panel. Try to say that 5 times fast, but I can't wait to get on the topics with him. And I want to give a huge shout out to, of course, to Oh Snap It's Mel, who is out there doing her job. Yo, thanks to the community for coming to the donation stream and you know, really helping us out. We were able to get our car back, which is absolutely imperative in basically our everyday life, because Oh Snap works like 4 towns away, and it's a manager job, so it's basically our only income. And you know, when the car got taken away and stuff like that, we didn't know what else to do. I turned to the community, and the community responded in such a way that I couldn't even have predicted, man. You guys really looked out for us, and I do appreciate that. And moving forward, like you'll see, you know, exactly what we're gonna do as well to give back to every one of you guys. So with that being said, man, I want to start. You know, I didn't want to start with the N-word at first, but this story is so crazy, so quote-unquote out of the box, that I can't help but start with it. And, of course, Nintendo. They feel it is okay to start something called, it's called Labo. A lot of people are calling it Labo, which is basically constructing different sets with cardboard, and you put your Switch into it, and there's a bunch of mini games that are involved in this. Now, I said it right too. Cardboard. Like, you can make a cardboard piano, and you have a camera in the Joy-Con, in one of the Joy-Cons, and you have to have it like aimed down at the keys. The Switch is supposed to detect which keys you hit, and you're supposed to play music. This is giving me a headache just talking about it, man. Yeah. Guys, basically Nintendo wants to sell you guys cardboard in a do-it-yourself, build your thing yourself type stuff. And the variety set is going to be $70. It comes with 5 different pieces to build yourself. The robot, which is a kind of like, it looks like a Ninja Turtle shell on your back. It's got rubber bands and stuff like that. And the robot is actually $80. So let's hit one of the most opinionated people on the panel, Mr. On Fumes himself. Mega, what do you think about this Labo or Labo, whatever you want to call it? Has Nintendo lost their mind, or do you think that people are actually going to go out and buy $70, $80 pieces of cardboard, man?
Look, if people listen, if people can set themselves on fire, people can eat Tide or detergent.
Oh goodness!
If people can,
dude, is this world coming to an end, man?
I mean, look. I think Nintendo's just seeing the market right now. I mean, we got kids that's doing wild stuff right now, and look, why not throw some cardboard? Let them create and let them think that they have like this. Let them use their imaginations by thinking that they have a life Minecraft set. I don't know. Look, man. Look, this is. Nintendo's going to make money off of it. I just see it. Nintendo's going to make money off of it. I mean, this is so bizarre. I would be embarrassed even to go wanting to buy this and then try to put a warranty on cardboard. I just couldn't see this. I just don't know, man. Nintendo is just doing their own thing, and we've been questioning them ever since the Switch came out when it came to the power narrative. But whatever they've been doing, they've got the minus touch right now, and so
I think they're putting something in the water, man, just to have people say yes, Nintendo, yes, Nintendo.
Yeah, and then what's even more bizarre is that the gaming media is loving this. It's fantastic. This is nothing wrong. Oh, look, Xbox, that power brick that was draining energy, that 5% energy, that is atrocious. That big microwave that you got from the Xbox One Fat, oh, that's atrocious. But this cardboard thing that's going to cost $80, it's okay. It's great for everyone, for kids, for grown-ass men and women that don't. If I see a turtle shell cardboard box on an adult's back, I'm gonna slap that shit off of them. I promise you. It makes no sense.
See him at the bus stop, like swinging.
Like, get it out of here. Right, but yeah, no, man, I just think Nintendo is just they're just doing whatever that they want to. I can't believe that got the green light. You know, when they were sitting at the office at the table and working on strategies for different peripherals and things of that nature, but they said, let's give it a go. So
no, Mega, I just want to put out there, when it comes to the creative aspect of what they're doing here, I have no problem with it. All right, I have no problem. I don't even have problem with them using cardboard for this stuff. What I'm looking at is, you know, they said this is for the kids. Now, my kids can be inadvertently destructive. All right, so using cardboard at that point, cardboard and rubber bands, probably not the best thing. My whole thing as a parent is I'm looking at the price point for this. You know what I'm saying? Like $70 for this variety pack, and as Crap said yesterday, I guess it does come with the game. So $70 for that pack, the variety pack with the game, $80 for the robot, and I guess with maybe the robot game. I'm not even sure about that. But all in all, the price point on this and how long this cardboard and rubber bands and stuff are gonna last, that's what really concerns me, man. And I gotta ask you, Mega, before I move on to the rest of the panel, this is a big question. It's something that I actually brought up on Coffee Casuals and Consoles this past Wednesday, is why does Nintendo get such a pass? Like, when it comes to the Switch, everybody's arguing with me that it's a console, right? Even though it's not held to the standard of the other consoles. Then, you know, I say it's a handheld and it's a great handheld. I get cursed at for that, but it's not held to the same standard as an Xbox One or even a PS4. So now all of a sudden they're coming out with cardboard peripherals, and like you said, the gaming media is going nuts for this. Oh, I can't wait to build it. Oh, it's for the kids, which the kids are going to tear it apart. Dude, why is Nintendo getting such a pass on all this, man?
They're just the darlings of right now. I mean, they got the hottest selling console or hybrid, whatever you want to call it, gaming machine out right now. They're doing really well, and you know how the media just likes to follow the trends, and this is a trend, and so of course they don't want to be the ones to say, well, this isn't cool. We think that this is a little bit overboard. Yeah. So they don't want to do that, so they want to be trendy, and I think it's sad because this is a hoax. Because I mean, all you got to do, it's a hoax, man. All you got to do is you go to Hobby Lobby or to any store and buy damn cardboard and markers, and you can have your kids color whatever the hell they want to, and then make whatever they want to, and then you know, if they was buying that machine by itself for $70, which I would think it would be completely ridiculous, but still, it's like Come on, man, because that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to get a warranty. If this is for the kids are gonna jack this thing up the first day that they get it. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just gonna want to play it hard and be. Man, look, let's move on. I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Did you see Daz in the chat, man? He's got me cracking up, and I don't even want to repeat it, man. But he's talking about kids urinating on cardboard and it's no good anymore. And
yeah. I mean, it could soggy dog roll. Yeah, I mean, it's just kids do wild stuff, man. And if you're catering to kids about this, it'd be great for a kid, maybe for any kids from 7 to what, maybe 11, something like that.
Maybe
but
something like that, man.
Maybe something like that. I mean, kids, they're watching Logan Paul show dead people. Come on, man. They're watching YouTube of other stuff, man. They're not worried about this cardboard stuff, but parents are going to buy this for them. And the truth of the matter is that these Nintendo fans, they're going to buy it for themselves. Yeah. They're going to say it's for the kids because they're too embarrassed to say that they got it for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Mega, we're part of BGST. We get to talk to Zaire and Zaire. Before the Switch came out, he had the term Wii U weirdos, and I thought it was like a funny name, cool name or whatnot. But the Wii U weirdos went out and bought the Switch, and you just said it just now. These grown ass people are gonna go out there and buy this cardboard, man. I'll be damned if I see somebody dressed up as a robot in cardboard at the bus stop. I don't know. Pred, what do you think, man?
Man, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, like we get beat up for using shit like this. I mean, I said this last night, and it kind of got talked over, but. The Switch is just the mid-gen upgrade of the Wii U. It's like the biggest hustle of this generation. Like all those games, with the exception of the portability of it, like this console could run everything that the Wii U ran. In my opinion, like it maybe not as high specs, but I remember when Zelda came out, it ran better on the Wii U than it did on the Switch.
We have Zelda on the Wii U at the house, and I gotta say, on the Wii U, game's absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I think every game that's come out so far on the Switch is gonna be able to be ran. It could have been ran on the Wii U, but like, again, the portability of it is what makes it so popular. Unlike you, I know you use yours as a handheld, I believe. I use mine more as a docked in, but I can't see myself, even if it wasn't docked in, I couldn't see myself, and my kids don't fuck with the Wii at all. Like, I mean, not the Wii, but the Switch. They don't mess with it, right? So it's too childish for them. Now, like a 6-year-old, 8-year-old kid, I don't know if I would spend $300 on an 8-year-old on something on a console like that, on top of a cardboard box game. I mean, I just couldn't imagine myself doing something like that. They'll get like a DS or something like that, but like that's too expensive for me to let my little 8-9-year-old run around stepping on a foot pad with.
Dude, you saw the foot pedal. Yo, dude, you read my mind. There's a foot pedal, right, where you put one of the Joy-Cons in. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't like a pair of Joy-Cons like $80 or something like that?
They're not cheap, man. But
dude, the cardboard is only held up by a rubber band, and you see a kid putting their foot down like it's a gas pedal. Like, no way in hell I'm letting my kids do that, yo.
And let me tell you, this is how they're gonna fuck everybody, right? When that cardboard is destroyed, you have to rebuy that to play that game. I think you could play the games without it, but it kind of takes away the fun out of it. I don't
understand how you would do that either, though.
But once that cardboard is destroyed, you got to get more cardboard. You got to buy it from the store, and that's where they're gonna get their money from. But like, this could have easily been made with plastic. It might have been more expensive, but at least it would be more durable. Or at least have plastic parts in it. Some certain components of it could have been a plastic or rubber or something like that. It would have cost more money to make, which might have driven the price up. But I mean, it's selling. That's the crazy thing. It's selling on Amazon. I'm telling you, dude. If I was like 16 and I seen a kid playing this at my age, they get fucked up. What the fuck are you doing?
Hey man, these kids got top knots and skinny jeans, man.
What the fuck is wrong with kids
nowadays?
Knots
and skinny jeans. Bro. Oh man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just a big difference. I don't want to get on my old Clint Eastwood on the porch. Yeah, but man, you know what I'm saying? We wear backpacks, five finger rings. You know what I'm saying? We baggy jeans. We doing our thing, man. this era, man, you know what I'm saying? God bless the millennials, man. Because I see my son and my daughter, man, and I'm like, okay.
Pussification of America, right?
All right, well,
with the damn shit.
Well, guys, check this out. Since we're talking about millennials, let's go to somebody who lives in like millennial central. So, let's talk to Dark Optimus about this. Yo, Optimus, I know, like me, when it comes to creativity, innovation, don't get mad yet, Optimus, but when it comes to creativity and innovation, we are, fairly open to things. Now, when it comes to the Switch, it's been well known that I consider it a handheld, all this good stuff. I have said things about Nintendo kind of being like that one cousin at your family reunion that's over in the corner playing with blocks, but he's happy. And people love him, people adore him, it's all good. Dude, what do you think about these peripherals coming out? I like what Predator said, because if you look at the history of Nintendo, when it came to the Wii, even the Wii U, like the accessories, having the wheels and all sorts of peripherals in plastic sold, and they sold well. Dude, do you see this as the next step of those peripherals? And why is Nintendo getting a pass when it comes to shit like this, man?
Here's the thing. Brett is absolutely right about what the Wii U did and the Wii did. The reason why they're getting a pass is because it's smart, dude. And just hear me out here, okay?
Hold on. So should Xbox do this?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Nobody else.
It's
nobody
smart,
else
just
should
not
4K cardboard.
do this because, but it's smart because No, let me finish. I'm gonna let you guys. I'll let you guys talk. Let me finish here, okay?
I'm hearing you, Dark. I'm hearing you, man.
The reason why it's smart is because they know parents are gonna go out there and buy this shit for their kids. They're gonna buy it. Like K Mega said, he's probably not gonna buy it because his kids are older. Pred's probably not gonna buy it because his kids are older. But people are gonna buy it for their kids that are like 5, 6, maybe 7 years old. And this is gonna be a hot ticket item when Christmas comes around.
But aren't the parents just asking for trouble if they do buy this? Because it's
of course, it's cardboard. It's cardboard. Of course, it's questionable that the parents are buying this. But at the same time, Nintendo was like, "Hey, what can we gouge parents for? Oh, why don't we give them something that's cardboard and then they'll buy it?" And they know people are gonna buy this stuff. and it's sad, but I mean like my nephew, he's 5 years old. I guarantee you, if I show him this, he's gonna want it because of the fact that it's a robot. There's a robot.
Yeah, there's a robot.
That's the only one he would want.
Uncle Dark.
That's the only one he would want. He wouldn't. Exactly.
Somebody over there, Nintendo's thinking what can we do to make the Americans buy something stupid?
Yeah, exactly. It isn't for us. It's not for the hardcore gamers. It's for the kids, man. And it's smart because they know kids are going to get their parents to go out and buy this. And it's something that I don't think any other company should do because, I mean, honestly, if Xbox did something like this, it would probably be ridiculed and thrown under the bus and stuff like that.
There's no manufacturing cost whatsoever. They're putting this in boxes that are $70, $80. I mean, even if they sell 2, they're like profiting from this.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible.
Yeah.
Dude, like I said, I have no problem with the imagination, innovation. If you came out, like, it doesn't take a lot of money to make kind of like a shelf for a piano, plastic, like, you know what I'm saying? A little more sturdy than cardboard, can really get some use out of it and stuff like that. And
I think it will be sturdy cardboard, but I don't think it's going to be sturdy enough to where if a kid pees on it, it's not going to wreck. I'm sure if a kid pees on it, it's going to wreck, dude. But I mean, it's going to be sturdy enough cardboard that, I think kids are going to be able to have some wear and tear in it, Dark, but I don't think it's going to be
sturdy cardboard, Dark. Come on, man. I don't know.
There is cardboard out there that you can buy that is a little bit more sturdier than your normal piece of cardboard, but I think
not the Nintendo cardboard though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's definitely gonna be it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how many parents are going to go out there and say something about this and be like, you know what, I wouldn't actually buy this for your kid. You know,
wait, real quick. What's it gonna debut on MPDs?
Right? Yeah. I mean, who knows?
No, he's asking.
I'm asking the question. But y'all take a wild guess.
I honestly, if it does hit MPD, it probably won't be number 1, but it'll probably be, you know, maybe 3 or 4, somewhere around there.
3. Hold on.
No.
3. Oh, you're talking about the rank, like on
yeah, the MPDs, yeah, in MPDs, yeah.
I'm thinking like 250,000 sold. I am, and it's ridiculous for me to say that, but I gotta, like, I've been about common sense ever since I started YouTube, and just to see kind of like big game and media get behind this, because you got to remember, when it comes down to it, you're talking about parents buying this for kids, and you know, if they, you know, they're more on the casual side of things, they will, like, you know, they could type it in on YouTube, and then they'll get like the no, and they'll see all these like grown-ups like swooning this whole thing and stuff like that. Be like, all right, it's a great idea. Look at these professionals are saying this is a great idea, and it's gonna sell at least at first. But damn, man, people, when it comes to Nintendo fan, I'm a Nintendo fan too. But come on, guys, you gotta draw a line in the sand somewhere, man. You gotta tell Nintendo, all right. First of all, the Switch is it's a handheld, all right? I could plug it into my TV, that's all well and good, but this sucker is a handheld. Second of all, be like, man, you're trying to sell me cardboard? Like, really? I don't know. Yo, let's get the man who's coming live from the Utah hood right now, which is the Don. Don, yo, what do you think about this, man? I want to hear your thoughts about using the cardboard to build around the Switch, the price point, and do you think this sucker is going to sell, man?
Well, I mean, I guess it's green. It's got that going for it. It's, you know, you can recycle it when you're done.
Oh, that's a good point too, man.
Yeah, you're not going to fill up landfills like ET cartridges. Mm-hmm. Maybe, you know, that sort of thing. But that's about as positive as I can get about it, right?
No, I was gonna say you turned tree hug liberal on us, man. I was like, really? Oh man.
But that's all I can really say about it. Like, here's the problem with what Nintendo is facing, and this is something I've been saying before the Switch has come out, and this just reinforces what I've been saying. You can't just sell the system and be profitable. You have to have third-party support. A lot of it. Nintendo doesn't really have that much of it. And where they make the most of their money, believe it or not, is on hardware, which is not what you're supposed to do in this business. So what they're doing, and they won't never admit to it, but this is what I see it is. What's going to give them the greatest margin, what does the best for them, is hardware. So the best way to increase that margin is sell them cardboard. And, you know, have these niche little games. They have a wide appeal, because they do, right? These are just kind of like, you know, more or less kind of like party games, which has done really well with Nintendo over the years. Mm-hmm. And that's more or less what it is. So it'll do well for it is, and then it'll have a fallout. And, you know, when people are done with it, they'll just break it down.
Do you think it's going to have a fallout, though? Do you really? Because everybody is like, Nintendo is like the Cinderella of the gaming industry right now. Do you really feel like people are going to turn, you know, do a 180 on Cinderella at some point?
Well, I mean, it's going to be forgotten about, at least. I mean, at the max. Remember, it's going to be one of those things we look back 2 years from now. Remember when we used to play games that made out of cardboard?
People be like, hell no, I don't remember that shit.
Yeah, you know, that's what it's going to be, because, you know, obviously that stuff is not going to last any more than a couple months. We all know it. We've all been talking about it. You know, all jokes aside, it really isn't going to last, right? Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a parent and you buy this for your kids, that's fine. Whatever your kids ask for, that you're an adult, you can go ahead and do that. But what I would advise people to do is, when you punch out all the little cardboard pieces that make up the unit, save that cardboard template, and because you know your kids are going to destroy everything you just popped out, and you can use that template, and you can probably just make your own.
Man, down the road. That's going to be your part-time job if you get this, though, is to make.
Oh hell, you know what I would do? I would just literally just go to the dollar store, get those plastic binders, and make it out of that stuff, and then here you go, kids, and they can. well, pee on it all they want or whatever they want to do.
Why is every kid peeing on these things? I just want to know. I don't get it.
Well,
I understand.
You raise kids? Is that how kids are raised? I don't know.
Like, I understand what you guys heard a couple weeks back, you know, off the air when I was talking to the twins. But come on, man, I'm not sure if that's an epidemic going on.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
and stuff.
You're referring to.
I think it's an epidemic.
But I mean, you kind of get where I'm going with this. Like it's going to play itself out, just like Pogs or whatever else was the hot thing at the time. And then it's going to have a quick uprising. It's going to have a quick burnout, and they'll move on to something else. And people are just going to be like, yeah.
Yeah, I got you, man. Yo, huge shout out to the chat. OG Mac 06 in the chat said Microsoft should sell bubble wrap. That'll sell something. Yeah. All right. And then Great Skull Zero said packing peanuts as well. This is what we've come to, guys. This is 2018, man. I've been waiting for this year just because, I know me, K Mega, we've been in DMs, BGST. We hear rumors and stuff all the time, kind of like into the gaming industry. Of course, we talk to the Don and stuff like that. 2018 is a crazy year for gamers. Like, we're getting a bunch of titles, we're getting a bunch of news, everything like that. And what does Nintendo show up with? I got a cardboard box you can play with for $70.
You know what? I can spend literally $20 in gas money and make myself a box for it and have way more fun than what that Nintendo box thing is. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get it.
I can't wait to see the reviews on this. I can't wait to see big gaming media with their hands-on review. I can't wait to see like somebody from IGN wearing a cardboard Ninja Turtle shell as a robot. Like, this is gonna be hilarious, man. I'm gonna clip it. I'm gonna use it. Yeah.
Remember the cardboard VR things for your phone?
Yeah, and people made fun of those too.
Do you see those anymore?
I didn't see him to begin with, man.
Exactly. That's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
It's gonna have the same fate as the cardboard VR, right? People are gonna have fun with it. It's gonna be a novelty, and people are gonna move on. In regards to the problem is you're not going to be able to, you bought it for those games. You're not going to be able to play those games. So that's where I don't think anyone can really argue that point. That's inevitable. Like, you have something that's less durable that's eventually going to break through just normal wear and tear and use. I mean, it's one of the few materials that is recyclable.
As soon as I saw that gas pedal, I was like, hell no. No way in hell I would have my kids like, yeah, you can play a racing game. Just put this, like, half of an $80 controller into this gas pedal and press down with your foot. Don't worry, it's got a rubber band attached to it. It's fine, Hell no.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know, any portable gaming device, and I've never been huge on portable devices, period, outside of like a laptop or something like that.
Got me vaping like a fiend right now. I'm just
man, you know what it reminds me of? Eventually that device goes in the bathroom with somebody, and that thing gets red flag. And every time I see a portable device in the house, I'm like, man, has that been in the bathroom? That dude. That dude. Yeah, exactly. Poop and play. That dude will hesitate. You're like, you're just like, that guy's still in the bathroom with me. You don't want to touch it afterwards. So it's like, it just, I don't know. Like, I'm not big. It's sad for me because a big part of me actually really does love Nintendo.
Yeah.
That was a big part of my childhood, and I think even if you're a big Sega guy, like, Nintendo still was part of your childhood, even if you're playing on the other platform. And to see him do this, like, it just shows, like, they're always chasing after whatever new customer they can get, and it's not, they're not built on the loyal customers a whole lot anymore.
No.
Just how they build their consoles and how they do these sort of things.
You can say that with the hardware, but when it comes to the software, I mean, Mario is still Mario. Zelda... But
it's just a handful, though. It's like Mario Kart, maybe, Mario Party.
I want to see Metroid.
Zelda.
I want to see the new Metroid.
Yeah, but Metroid's like, they do it, but sometimes they don't do it. Like, it's obviously not the same frequency as everything else, right? So I want to see them do well, but just not like this.
I got you. Yo, shout out to Power Gamer in the chat. He says the Switch isn't for me. It seems too gimmicky and kiddie, but I can understand why others like it. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, you get the Nintendo first party there with the Marios, the Zeldas, now Pokemon, Mario Kart. I mean, there is software there and coming down the line with Metroid and stuff like that. So I can see that the interest there. But when Nintendo announces something like this where you just wrap your Switch up in cardboard. Now, granted, like I said, with the camera and the Joy-Con, there's a lot of cool things going on here. But at the end of the day, you are wrapping your $300 handheld in cardboard, and then they say it's for the kids, so it's okay. But the kids will absolutely destroy it. I don't see it. I don't like it. I will call it as I see it, guys, and this is absolute bullshit, in my opinion.
It's the best version of the NVIDIA Shield you can buy. It is. That's what it is. It's really modified NVIDIA Shield hardware, with the some of the innovation stuff on the controller side of things from Nintendo.
I think this week coming, because it's Saturday. By like maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I'm gonna come out with a video on my channel on how Nintendo can win me back. Because like I said, I do love their first party games and stuff, but a lot of the stuff I'm seeing, man, there's certain things like I want a console from them. So maybe I'm just going to come out with a video explaining exactly what they do.
Do you want a console from them, or do you want their software?
I want them to evolve a console. I want.
They are with cardboard.
No, I want a nice Nintendo console to sit next to my Xbox One X, my PS4, that really takes advantage of power the way these others do. I want to see. Remember when they had Zelda in the Unreal Engine and they were showing that stuff off? That's what I want to see, the evolution of.
But they've always done that though. You even go back to like the remember the N64 demo. Mm-hmm. Was it N64 or was it GameCube? I can't remember. I think it was maybe GameCube. They had this like epic looking battle between Link and Ganon, right? And they're like, "This is what our next console is going to be." And then next thing you know, it must have been GameCube, because next thing you know, when they show the first Zelda game, they go from the super hyper realistic version of Zelda to literally the Wind Waker one. Which was the exact opposite, right? Which sets an expectation and goes the opposite direction and stuff like that. And I think Nintendo just needs to wake up, at least here in the Western side of the world, right, where they do have a huge audience that grew up with the Marios, grew up with the Zeldas, and grew up with all that sort of stuff. And the harsh reality, maybe if the hardware is good enough, they'll buy the hardware, right? But if to make the games kind of grow with their audience, they'll see even, I think, honestly, more record sales than they're already seeing right now with just what they do. And I think that's what a lot of investors get frustrated with Nintendo, because you hear about this a lot within the industry. There's a lot of pressure from investors to get Nintendo to do more traditional things.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure from investors, and there still is a lot of pressure today for them to just release software on other platforms, and that's what their business model should be. And you hear about it all the time, but they don't do it. And I just kind of look at it like, okay, the success of the Switch is, it's doing well. Like it's obviously it's still enough. The platform itself is selling really, really, really well.
It's doing well with no UI, only one game at launch. Now they developed the library through it, but like it was selling well.
The library's not enough, though. That's
a Zelda machine, man.
Yeah, the library's not enough, and the support is not enough, and I still see this system having less support as far as games launching on it than previous Nintendo consoles. And that's the going trend for Nintendo and that's where where their investors look at them just like, guys, like we want the money from games being published on your platform, but enough games are being published on the platform, nor is there enough games selling on the platform except for your own. And if you keep looking. So when you keep looking at it from that perspective, and you keep dumping money into this company, and they're not listening, like the question is, is it enough money for those investors to say, you know what, yeah, Nintendo does well, but is my money better spent somewhere else at another company where I can be way more profitable in a shorter period of time?
Well,
Or is Nintendo going to catch on?
Stuff like that right now their hardware is hot, so stuff like that is going to be kind of like down the line. I think right now we have really milked the Nintendo talk. I mean, we can probably still go on because I think everybody on the panel is kind of scratching their heads about, like, every time Nintendo comes out with something, it's like, what the hell are you doing now? But we do have a lot more, like, I don't know, more interesting topics, I guess you could say, because at the end of the day, trying to figure out Nintendo is like looking at an ink blot and telling people what you see. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on to Xbox news. And a lot of people, especially this last year, were hitting social media, you know, Phil Spencer, Aaron Greenberg, talking about Shannon Loftus and kind of like the job that she was doing heading the games division of Xbox. And just recently, it has come out that she is no longer the head of the division, but a guy named, I believe it's Matt Booty. And I was, man, I had to restrain myself from putting a booty kind of like joke in the title because I didn't want YouTube to come and be like, hey, what are you guys talking about over here? But so Matt Booty, who came from the Minecraft space, he helped kind of usher in the Minecraft that we know now, which is basically you can play Minecraft on any device. It all links together, so people on an Xbox One can play Minecraft with somebody who has it, you know, Pocket Edition, or on a tablet or something like that on the computer. And they really evolved that title into what I feel was kind of like the essence of the game. So now he is the head of Xbox Games, and I want to go down the line here. Let me start with Predator. I know we talked about this last night on Crossfire. You seem to be a lot more knowledgeable on like what this guy has done and whatnot. So what do you think this means for, you know, the Xbox Games divisions, Microsoft Studios, now that Matt Booty is in charge and Shannon Loftus kind of takes orders from this guy now?
Yeah, I don't want to make sure I'm not on mute.
Nope, you're good.
I don't think Shannon was ever really in charge. When Phil took the position he took at the round table, that kind of left a void. And Phil was trying to do his old job and sit at the round table, and he needed somebody in that position that he used to hold to basically oversee the Xbox division on a different level from what he was doing at the round table. So he basically needs someone to fill his role. Now I don't know if this position was created or if that's what was because when he became the guy at the round table, if they were expecting him to continue to do the same job he was doing. So basically, look at it this way. What is that guy's name? Marston, that was in charge of Phil before they made their own Xbox division and put Phil in charge. Phil had to report to that guy, right? So when Phil stepped in and took that seat at the round table, Phil can't sit here and go to all these stupid ass meetings at the round table and still go and handle everything going on with the Xbox division. So when you look at it from that perspective, somebody needs to be there. And when you look at the list of candidates, I mean, you got Aaron, you got Shannon, you got PUBG guy, I forgot his name right now off the top of my head. The guy that's always doing, him, and maybe a couple other heads of some other divisions, like 343, et cetera, et cetera. Those people are kind of solidified in their place. And I think what they really wanted was someone who's more involved with game making, maybe like the development part of it. And Shannon's not that. Neither is Aaron. So they got someone else. And given all the bad press that we've given Shannon and Aaron over the past year about marketing, about getting games and stuff like that, even if they put in for that position, that alone right there would let you know that they didn't need that position because they can't handle the job they're doing. The last thing we've been complaining about with these two are marketing sucks and where the fuck are our games? Like, you need someone
can't handle the job or not given the resources to do what they want to do.
I don't.
Two different things. So like that's the mystery, right?
Yeah, and maybe it's a little bit of both because like
like I feel very hard to it's hard to be that harsh on them, and I understand where other Xbox guys are being harsh on those two, but we're on the outside looking in on those two, in their roles and what resources they've been given and what foresight they've been given as well. So
yeah, and that's one of the things I think Phil had the handcuffs on him too, back maybe like a year or so ago as well.
Mhm.
With the
Yeah,
position he
that's
was
fair
sitting in.
assumption.
So, but now that he's not sitting in that seat, I think it's hard for him to sit here and maintain the same level of oversight with the Xbox division because he's probably got so much other shit to do now. And so they needed somebody to sit in that position now. I think it was a good hire. I don't really know that much about the guy other than his Minecraft stuff. I know he did some stuff with they were talking last night at Crossfire with Playground Games and stuff like that, or Forza or something. But I mean, it's a good hire. I mean, I'm just really curious to see what his background is outside of just Minecraft is and what his direction is going to be as far as the Xbox division goes. So,
all right. Now, last night on Crossfire, I did say, the way I look at it is, even if Shannon Loftus didn't have that title, as Phil moved up and wasn't able to, he was running around trying to do both things, like Pred was saying. Shannon was like, "Hey, I'll take that off your hands, and I'll do this and I'll do that." And
I was like, "No."
And you saw kind of like the backlash from that. I put it out like, Xbox, they're listening to their gamers, and there was a huge kind of like backlash on what Shannon Loftus was kind of like presenting to the gamers in terms of Xbox and stuff like that. Do you think that that's part of it? That's why they're like, we really need to fill this role. Phil, he's going to be sitting at this table over here. We need somebody in this seat, and it's definitely not going to be her just because of the outcry from the gamers as well.
I don't think they listen to us as far as like just because we say we want someone fired. I don't think that came into play. But like, I think I think they probably wanted someone with a little bit more knowledge about game development in that position, and I don't think Shannon has that. I definitely don't think Aaron Greenberg has that. Maybe I was trying to say Mike Ibarra earlier. Maybe Mike did. But like again, they have to want that position as well, and I don't know if especially Mike Ibarra, I don't know if he really wanted that position. I'm not at his house eating dinner with him or anything like that.
Mike
like,
got promoted to something else as well, man. From
yeah, his position is equally as big as that position.
I thought
right
it was
now.
bigger, to be really honest with you.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to downplay it a little bit, but I mean, it's more hardware and it's more of what's going on with the UI and all that sort of stuff. I mean, he has been involved in games like especially when certain launch games early on, he helped Rise look the way it does.
Yeah.
So that's in his portfolio. He worked on that game with Crytek. So,
and I really think like for as far as like the biggest game of this year on Xbox, PUBG, I think he was the guy that really solidified that just by playing it so fucking much. It wasn't Shannon sealing the deal. It was him playing the game so much that a lot of Xbox fans got on the hype train for it.
Yeah, dude, he was on Mixer like twice a day, like every day for I don't know how long playing PUBG, man.
So I think it needs someone that can go in there and seal the deal with some of these other games that are trying to come up in development. And it's obvious that Greenberg wasn't doing it, and neither was Shannon over the past 2 or 3 years. We kept losing games because of those two, I think, and I think they wanted somebody else in that seat.
I got you. I mean, when it comes down to it, Aaron Greenberg is a very charismatic person. I love seeing his tweets. I love seeing kind of like his ideas. Like when it came to the Taco Bell thing, how like him and another guy that was working at Xbox went over to the Taco Bell by Xbox headquarters and what they did with all that. I think he's funny, he's creative and stuff like that. I don't necessarily agree with some of the marketing tactics that they have done, at least this generation, when it comes to the Xbox One. But I do want to move on, and I'm going to move on to the guy who, he is rocking that gold Lambo right now in gameplay. That car is sick looking, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yo, Mega, what do you think about this move? What do you think about me saying, it just, to me it seems like Xbox, they at least heard kind of like the outcry on social media, and then they looked at it and they're like, all right, well, she definitely can't fill the spot. So they grabbed somebody, from a successful Minecraft and put him in that spot. What do you think about this and kind of like my idea or reasoning behind it, man?
Well, I just think with anything that has to pertain to business, you're going to have positions to be filled. And until those positions are filled with the people that they feel that they need to have in properly, they're going to have fill-ins. And I think that's where Shannon was. And and you know what? Look, I had no problem with her outlook on broadening the Xbox portfolio. I think that people talk bad about Zoo Tycoon and Super Lucky's Tale, but the fact of it is that Xbox can be in a dominant state if they can touch on everything. The one thing that Xbox is synonymous for is for the online play, but Xbox can also touch into the single player aspect and then the kid aspect with what Nintendo does. Nintendo is always going to be Nintendo. PlayStation is really always going to be PlayStation, but Xbox can broaden their horizons, and I had no problem with that. And I thought it was unfair for people going after Shannon and all this and Phil and all of them after now that since we understand that Phil Spencer was working 2 jobs basically. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just like Predator said, it's like nobody, we're not in the ins and outs about everything and what these people do and what they have to go through. And there was a lot of mix up and everything that was going on. So I think it was very positive for this guy. And the only thing I've heard is nothing but high positive feedback about Matt Booty. Also, Matt Booty was at Midway. I don't know if you guys knew that. He was at Midway for about a year. And then, of course, the knock on him is that, well, Midway went bankrupt. Well, he was at the end of Midway. But let me just read a couple of things that I was discovering when we talked about it last night. And check this out. Matt earned respect in Midway as a rare Renaissance man in management. He has a unique perspective on producing great games because of his experience in almost every area of production, from sound design to coding, game design, artwork, and team management. I worked with him on I worked on one of his earlier managed projects, which shipped on time, under budget, looking great and fun to play, with a team that was motivated and efficient enough to avoid overtime. This was a special benchmark in a company, and as I found, it's rare in the gaming industry. Also, there was more stuff that was being said that that Matt is highly organized and results oriented manager. He understands and knows how to foster and create process of making a game balanced, and with the ability to reel in the goal, the business goal. So this guy seemed to be very level-headed. And also, it's a little tidbit. Him and Adam Boyes worked together at Midway, and how he's Adam Boyes is the CEO at Iron Galaxy now, but he was one of the guys that was at Sony. And they all were kind of cool. And then him and Phil Spencer, Matt and Booty and them became cool. And they talk about this whole situation of how him and Phil Spencer getting along really well. Mm-hmm. So, and then just look at what he done with Minecraft. So he he made that game global himself. And that means that he went out there and talked to the Japanese and the people out there in Europe and everything like that. And that's something that's well suited for if we want those Japanese titles that Xbox hasn't been able to get this generation. So I think the sky is bright. You know what I'm saying? I think Xbox has now really got their footing, and they got the right guy in place, and it's the sky's the limit.
Nice. Now, Mega, with that being said, and you dropped some really great information, because to be able to have a motivated team, to work under budget, not get into overtime with the team, and come out with a quality product that was fun to play in video games, that's kind of like the unicorn of development right there, like especially this generation. So that's absolutely incredible. Now, one question I want to ask you, because you talked about Matt's kind of like relationship with Phil Spencer. Can we put this down on paper as like Phil's like kind of first major I know it was a promotion, but more like his first major hire to put somebody? Is this a Phil decision, do you think?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think what Phil did is impressed the head of the CEO of Microsoft enough to where Phil has full control of everything Xbox now. Mm-hmm. I really do, because of how he had to manage, how he turned the Xbox One brand around. for just from where they were for 2013 to now where they're at, where people are loving the X, people love the S. They won some MPDs if people are really interested in that garbage, and it just kind of moved. It moved the needle, not all the way to the ultimate positive spot of where the 360 was, but getting to that perspective to now where, just like with the PlayStation 3, it caught its momentum at the end of the generation. Xbox is looking to be suited to do the same thing, especially when they're saying that, especially when Killer Phil himself is saying the games are definitely coming. So I'm stoked for it. I really am. And then also, if you just think about it from this perspective, is when, you know, it's just like with a sports team, when people have to move around and play different positions, sometimes things get lost. So now everybody is moving to their right positions at the company. And so there they can actually focus on what their actual task is. So, I mean, that's my opinion on that. I could be totally wrong. They could jack everything up, but I just think that putting this man in place, and then Phil can do his job of what he wants to do. Sharon Loftus, Aaron Greenberg, Mikey Barra, and everybody else on that staff can really get to work and do what they want to do on that in their department, and I think it can flourish.
Nice. And that sports analogy right there. I'm a New York Giants fan, and I do know the past few years we have had like injuries on the defensive line, and you know, all of a sudden a defensive tackle had to play defensive end and vice versa, and it really screwed up our defense right there. And I think that's I think K Mega hit it right on the head, hit the nail right on the head with that. And you know, like Shannon Loftus, you know, like she went out and represented Xbox to the best of her ability. Broadening kind of like the portfolio of Xbox is definitely important, and I think just people. She got maybe overly emotional in certain areas and with certain games that, you know, didn't necessarily have to be that way. But broadening the portfolio is definitely something that I think every gaming company should do. You should be able to build audiences like when it comes to family gaming, kid gaming, adult gaming, online multiplayer, single player experiences. You need to have bits and pieces of all that to fill out your portfolio. And I think Phil knows that, man, and we're going to see more and more of that moving forward. I do want to talk to Dark Optimus, though. He's been crazy quiet. I don't know if his igloo sprung a leak or what's going on here, but, dude, when it comes to Matt Booty, and just leave it to Xbox to hire somebody that we can make fun of their name. I'm just saying. But when it comes down to it, what do you think about this move? What do you think did the kind of like gaming community on social media have any impact that you know, they might have been leaning towards Shannon for this, but it was like, well, no, we can't really do that now, and then put this guy in. What do you think, man? Is this a good sign for Xbox?
Depends. I haven't seen anything that he's done yet. Take into account
what K Mega said as well, because that was some high praise when it comes to.
I never take into account what K Mega says at all. So
you're just screaming for that otter right now. You know that,
right? And there he goes. Oh wait, is he doing it?
No, what? No, not. What do you think, Dark?
I mean, this could go either one of two ways. It could go really good or it could go really bad. I don't think it'll be in the middle at all. Really good. I think, you know, Matt Booty can bring something to the table that Microsoft doesn't have yet. I know he was the head of Mojang, and you know, Mojang is really, you know, probably one of the best companies to work for right now. Even though they've only made Minecraft, but still at the same time, you know, they built upon Minecraft and made it, you know, better from when it was released. So, I mean, they definitely work on their games for a while. I could see him, you know, going in and you know, talking to 343 or, you know, even Coalition and telling them, you know, like, this is what we kind of want you to kind of do and keep working on your games. So then it comes to, you know, Microsoft standard and stuff like that. I'm hoping, you know, it turns around and, you know, kind of, you know, get these other companies to work, the coalition and 343 or any of the first parties to work on other games besides just Gears and Halo or something like that
mouth,
before
man.
you can turn
you
around.
Know what? Cut his mic.
No, I mean in terms of like continue to make Halo, but have them do another game besides just Halo. Maybe have them kind of branch out and do another game or something like that. But I mean, I want to have Halo. I don't want to not have Halo, but
this is where Mega chimes in, like, yo, save lock, and it's gotta be
hashtag save lock. I was just waiting until he got to shut up so I can just go ahead and do it.
Well, I mean, I don't think Locke is gonna make it though, but
everybody says that Locke is solid, man. He's coming back, bro.
Locke is a great character, man. I don't know why he gets all that hate, yo, for real.
He's the newest character, and that's why he gets all that hate. That's the only reason. He's just because he's a new character, and people played it.
Animus, what if I told you that he wore sandals that covered his big toe, and he lives in an igloo as well? Would you like that? Like,
I mean, probably not. No. But I think Matt Booty can bring something to the table. I think it's a good decision on their part to kind of bring in a guy who's ahead of a game developing company, and I think they're kind of they're taking strides to show that they are focusing on games now instead of just hardware.
I do have to say I am really excited. I'm excited now more than I was at the beginning of the show with hearing, K Mega, he went that extra mile, did research on this guy, and hearing what they said from what he did at Midway, being there like a year, and of course it was towards the end of Midway's life, but I think Midway died because of the whole kind of transition to what was going on with GameStop, and kind of like there was a lot of development teams that really closed down because of.
And they took a lot of risks. They took a lot of risks with all different type of genre of games, man. Mm-hmm. So I mean,
it had basically had nothing to do with him.
Nothing to do with him. Yeah, nothing to do with him.
How he ran the team and projects and stuff like that. I'm really excited because now he is on top and he's kind of overlooking a bunch of teams, and he sounds like he can be that perfect fit. So with that being said, we do have a dev on the panel, and he's been quiet as well. I think he's listening for gunshots right now, but we're going to distract him and ask him what he thinks about the booty leading the way on Xbox games. Man, what do you think, dude?
I think this clarifies a lot of the history of what's going on with Xbox. I mean, we're always on the outside kind of asking what's going on. Shannon taking the blunt of all the hate because people just assume it was her. Mm-hmm. She was in charge of global publishing. That's all she was in charge of. She's kind of the person, like, when a game's doing good or bad, she'll go to Phil or somebody and basically rally to keep the game alive, keep development going, right? So, I think a lot of people will hate on her, but the reality is some of the games you got a chance to play on your Xbox happened because of her. That includes Quantum Break, that includes other things. And I know Phil was...
Don, just with you, Miss, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. Guys, I got to run and get some water real quick. So you guys keep Don distracted for like 1 minute as
you don't have to. When Don start rolling, he's going to keep rolling. By the
time you could have left and come back.
That's why I tried
you would have said nothing. Just sometimes on Devin the Gamer, I'd say something and I say, Don, go ahead and kick it off. I can go cook cookies. I can go to the bathroom.
Dude, he makes
go sit back and watch half of a show.
He's like, he's all good to go.
Yeah, he's good to go. Go ahead, Don. No, let people know what you think. Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't think Shannon deserves any of the hate that she received. Yes, Xbox received a dry spell, and I don't think anyone's damaging controlling that, right? Like, we acknowledge the fact that we've had good games prior to that, and this last year we've had less games. I mean, as simple as that. And I think what that shows is, obviously Phil still had his hand in the cookie jar helping out with the whole process, and and I think what Phil was trying to do is trying to keep a tight lid on everything, right? Because what he's trying to do is release new hardware. He's trying to cut back on spending on on marketing. You're trying to get iconic games, hopefully get something to get traction with less money. like, you know, and keep everything alive. And you know, like Phil reminds me of that guy that does that spinning plate thing at the circus, right? And just keeps them all kind of going. That's kind of like what Phil is doing. And now that Phil's got a bigger role and he's got some other shoes he's got to fulfill, he's got somebody he can put in that position that basically did the dedicated job Phil did when before Phil got his first promotion. Not this latest promotion, but the promotion before that, right?
Interesting.
Interesting. And then that's something that Xbox has been missing this whole entire time, and I think it just all makes sense. Now, the other thing that's interesting about Matt Booty that I'm hearing through the grapevine, through K Mega and stuff like that, listen to you guys, is something that I know Xbox has been doing for quite a while. They're trying to get the studios. Yes, they have a dedicated job. Like 343, you work on Halo, and the guys at the Coalition, you're working on Gears, right? But when there's those dead times, right? What they're trying to do is they're trying to get those studios to be able to coordinate with other Microsoft studios to help them out. You're seeing a lot more of that.
Man. Like if they can pull it
they've been hiring.
Like that?
They've been hiring this way for a year now. So when you interview for basically Xbox, I can say this right now. You interview for basically multiple studios. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how the process works. That's all I can really say about it, but that's how the process works. So they're looking, you know, from that statement alone, you can dissect it and say, hey, they're looking for not only top tier talent, they're looking for the top tier diverse talent. So when everyone's all late, it's like, you know, last year when they're all worried about games before E3 and all that sort of stuff, and the sky was falling, you know, I looked at it just like, I know what, you know, I have an idea what they have planned, what's going on there. And they're doing something different than other people what's have been done in the industry before, and they have a game plan. And that game plan is top tier talent that's diverse, and that's not something that those are hard people to find in the industry. You can find really good artists. You can find really good.
I know one. I know one right here on the panel, and they should probably, you know, look over here to a certain KTR type person. You know.
Yeah, if we had that reach, I can see something like that happening, but. Yeah. That being said, you know, I'm not worried about Microsoft's future because I think they have a plan. They're not sitting on their hands. They're not just not doing anything. They have a goal. They recognize their downfalls, and Matt Booty kind of represents what it looks like the right man to coordinate those teams together. And instead of because the great thing about being on a team. And I can tell you from experience from the last project I just finished up with at the end of last year, is when certain members of your team are ahead of schedule. Mm-hmm. There is no better feeling when you're working on a project and you're ahead of what you're supposed to be doing by quite a margin. And that's something I always pride myself when I was working for the last studio I was working with. Is, you know, I was so far ahead. Matter of fact, they actually. Sometimes they told me to go home so other members can catch up to what I was doing. Now imagine if I was in that position, say working whatever at Churn 10, right? And I have diversity outside of making cars. If I was ahead of schedule, wouldn't it make sense to be helping out another studio, even if it was just like, you know, grindy work?
Yeah.
I was able to help them out and make sure they meet their mark. Mm-hmm. And maybe. And I'm not saying this is part of the structure, but maybe have some sort of incentive for those particular employees to get ahead of schedule and can help out other studios. You know, kick them a little extra back.
Fill out your portfolio even more that way.
Yeah, just another feather in your cap for that talented individual. Allows them to break up the monotony of, you know, because there's some artists that, you know, their mind's all over the place, right? So trying to coordinate on one project, sometimes it's hard for them. Others strive and do really well in those environments, right? So those people that, you know, they're ahead of schedule and diverse, why not? Why have them work on some sort of cartoon thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Welding a birdseed is the same regardless if it's cel-shaded or a realistic character or anything like that. Cleaning up polygon meshes where things are intersecting incorrectly and stuff like that. Inverse schematic IK structure is the same regardless of what type of game we were talking about. So, like, you have diverse talent, so utilize it. So I'm excited what Matt Booty brings to the table. I don't really know much about the guy, but that's what makes it exciting, because you don't really know what he's going to bring to the table. And it could be for the worst, it could be for the best. I don't know the guy, but everyone seems to be behind him, and that's what you want in a leadership role.
So you're trying to say everybody's behind the Booty then, right?
I wasn't going to say that.
That's the only picture I got when you said that, man. But hey, all in all,
man, you can't sit in one sentence and talk me up for employment there, and then make fun of the person who may be my boss.
Right.
Do that,
Yeah,
man.
that's
well,
bad,
all right.
man.
Well, see,
you can't do that.
It was kind of like a sandwich thing I was going for.
Booty sandwich.
Yeah. No,
Booty sandwich?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
It's going downhill. we can't get out of this. It's a tailspin.
Yeah, it's over.
I was gonna say
He's gonna look at Don's portfolio and says, "You know what? This looks pretty good." And then he heard Xbot
booty sandwich
talk about booty sandwich, and he says,
"Nah, never mind."
No, let's be honest. This guy's probably heard this in quite a few jokes over the years. Yeah, I would imagine. So I imagine you had a pretty good.
I'm pretty sure he's got
personality about it.
Middle school memories right now that he probably want to forget. But no. With that being said, like that whole idea of having kind of like the different camps, like 343 Coalition, and like the different camps underneath the Xbox Microsoft umbrella, kind of like helping out. I mean, we've already seen in certain instances like the benefits of that. I mean, you look at the water from Forza Horizon 3, and that was basically that was taking code from Sea of Thieves. Rare came over, it's like, hey, you could do this and that or whatever. So that's I'm looking at that as kind of like a revolutionary way for them to do this, because I don't hear like the Sony first party working together or anything like that. I don't hear any other kind of like teams doing that stuff.
There's a little bit of that with Kojima and the guys that do robot toasters. Whatever you were talking about, David, the dinosaurs.
Guerrilla Games.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Guerrilla Games, those guys.
Toasters.
But you know what I'm talking about. Those two are working together.
Okay.
Hand in hand. So,
no, they are.
They still are. So they're helping out with the engine that Guerrilla Games makes. That's the reason why it's possible that Kojima's game is going to be built in 5-6 years versus 8 to 10 years, right? So they have that going on. Who knows what else they're doing? I mean, you can't look at PlayStation's portfolio and say maybe there's not people working together across studios, because their games.
You really don't hear it though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the games look very similar, right? And that's not the right way to do it, right? You want your games to be diverse. I don't want all my games to look the same, right? I don't want all my games to look like Gears. I don't want all my games to look like a Sea of Thieves, right? You want a variety to your games, but if you have diverse talent, you're able to do that versus, say somebody that's really talented, but they kind of only have one trick in their hat. You know what I mean? It's like a magician with a couple of magic tricks, and they just kind of recycle the same tricks over and over again, but slightly different spin. So, I mean, that's the way I kind of look at it. And so I think that's where they're going to differ between the two companies.
I got you. I mean, at the end of the day, one thing I can say, ever since like New Year's Day, man, there seemed to be, I guess you could say even before that with PUBG on Xbox, there just seems to be so much positive momentum going in Xbox's camp right now. I've seen people kind of try to question, well, what's after this year? Because it looks like Xbox lineup this year is really good. And, the haters out there, they don't want you to kind of look at that, but they want you to look past it. But it seems like there's a wave of positivity. People are seeing kind of like the restructuring going on. They're now seeing kind of like the benefits from this. And you got a bunch of titles coming out this year. You got updates coming to the UI where they're not like crazy changing the structure of Xbox One UI, but they're adding in features and stuff like that. And it just seems to be, there's a lot of people who might not have been interested in Xbox before, now kind of looking over at this side. It's like, wow, what do these guys have to offer? And there's just a lot of positivity going on right now. With that being said, let's talk about one of the development teams that's kind of like at the center of this positivity right now, which is Playground Games. For people who don't know, Playground develops the Forza Horizon series with Turn 10, but basically it's a Playground game. They use Turn 10's Forza Tech engine, and they make an open world racer. And if you haven't played Forza Horizon 3, you are missing out. If you like anything about cars, anything about racing, this is a game you definitely have to try. But they have just recently updated it with the Xbox One X enhancement, true native 4K, 30 frames per second, a bunch of bells and whistles added to the game as well. All the way down to, and this is something that really impressed me, because when it comes to developing a game, I've noticed that development teams, there's certain shortcuts, there's certain things that they won't do as much work on, just to fill out the rest of the entire scenario of the game. And one of those things is shadows. If you ever notice, shadows in games are usually a lower resolution than, the textures and everything. But when it comes to this patch for Forza Horizon 3, even the shadows are in a native 4K resolution, which was absolutely astounding to me. Now, let's start with the angry otter himself, Dark Optimus, because I know he loves talking about Forza. Dude, when it comes to Playground, did you check out the Xbox One X enhancements for Forza Horizon 3? And have you noticed that, like, Playground they're steadily becoming that developer, man. They've been all over the place in terms of gaming news lately, man. What do you think about them kind of being, like, on fire right now?
It's a good thing. And if Microsoft doesn't pick these guys up soon, somebody will.
I think they're happy where they're at, to be really honest with you. Yeah.
I understand that they're happy where they're at, but I mean, I think somebody will offer them something, and they'll probably take it because of the fact that they'll want more money, or they'll have more time to do stuff. But I think the enhancements for Forza Horizon 3, it looks great, man. I mean, it looks very polished. It looks basically almost really on par with Forza Motorsport 7. It looks fantastic, man. I mean, I went in there and just played. I played the Hot Wheels, and it looks better. I mean, there's not ifs, ands, or buts about it. It just looks fantastic.
Now, Dark, you have an X, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, are you playing on a 4K television as well?
Yes.
Oh wow. Cause see, I'm still on the standard HD, and I can tell people right now, when it comes to the super sampling on the Xbox One X, even though I have a standard HD television, when I first put this game on again, my jaw dropped like it did when I first got the game at launch. Like it felt like, oh my goodness, like they stepped it up to like level 11, and the levels only go up to 10. So like I was just absolutely amazed by what I saw. One of the biggest things to me was kind of like the reflection of the world on the cars. I feel like that was one of the biggest steps, the biggest improvements. Dark, what do you think was kind of like the biggest? What was the most eye-catching thing to you when you played this game with the enhancement, man?
Honestly, just the factor of it just looking better. I think it just looked, it looked like a next gen game. It didn't look like when it was on my ass. It looked kind of grainy a little bit at times. Just because I have.
Gee, you never said that before, sir.
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna I wasn't gonna complain about it. I'm not one to complain about that kind of stuff because I have no reason to. But I think that made it look, they did a good job, man. I mean, I can't really say too much. It's just they did a good job. I mean, I don't really get into too much of the, what enhancements look like. As long as the game looks good, I'm gonna play it, and this one does. So,
well, this is coming from a Persona 5 fan as well. So I mean, take it with a grain of salt.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan
Yo,
of it.
Dark's gonna end up like coming to Connecticut trying to find me. Like he's gonna try to hurt me one day, man. I'll put it
then
out
your
there.
neighborhood's going to be on lockdown.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he's just got to go.
I don't know if you talked about. I don't know if you talked about them doing Fable yet, but I mean, this is huge for them. You know, it's going to be a really big task for them to do. But I think at the end of the day, they'll pull it off.
I got you. Well, we were gonna go into the enhancement for Horizon and then go into what we think about when it comes to the new Fable. So just put that in your back pocket. We will get back to you on that. Let's hit K Mega, because K Mega, like, he has surprised me when it comes to Forza Motorsport 7. I think he was the first person on my friends list to completely go through the career. Like, he took out Forza Motorsport 7's career, and I don't see anybody else on my friends list that has done so. So, Mega, have you gone back and played Forza Horizon 3?
Yes, I have.
And first of all, like, let us know if you played any of the DLCs and whatnot, and then let us know what you think about the enhancements, man.
Yeah, I have the DLCs. I have not yet seen the Hot Wheels DLC. Well, I played it, but on the S, but I haven't seen it on the X yet. But I did play Cocaine Mountain.
Oh my goodness!
Me and Don and a couple other listeners, man, we was out there, and I was getting my ass kicked. But you know what? I figured out what I did wrong. See, I was playing. I was on so much on another level on Horizon. I was playing on expert. No ABS brakes. No assists. And so when I was like, I'm going all over the place. What's going on? And when you're playing when you're playing Forza 7 and you turn down and make all the adjustments that you make there, and then when you try to jump on Horizon, it was a completely different game, Jack. So it was beautiful though. I mean, I jumped in there, and it wasn't beautiful for me getting my ass destroyed in the races, but it was really fun just to play it. And like everybody's that's watched it and seen it, I showed a few clips on Twitter, and like this blows me away. Like it really trips me out that people want to complain about the performance situation and say, well, you need to do that first before you show the visuals. No, the visuals is what will attract more people to want to play your game. Mm-hmm. Then you can make another patch. And
are you arguing about the frame rate versus visual?
Yes, some people are like, you should have had the 1080p 60 first. No, you know what I'm saying? You got a 4K box. Don't you want to show the enhancements of what it would look like in HDR and in true HDR and 4K? Yes. And then you can go and you can, because that will entice people to say, whoa, even if I was on the fence for this game, I think I'm going to get that since I got a 4K television, or even if you don't. I mean, if you got the X, that is just more enticing for you to want to play on that machine to see what it can do. And then you can get a patch later on for the 1080p 60. And I mean, they'll just make the pot even sweeter. But regardless, the game looks amazing. It plays well after I changed the settings back to minor settings. I'm sad to say, but it's
put some
it's
of those
dope,
assists
man.
Back on there.
Yeah, I had to put that assist on, man. I was like, why am I sliding all over? What's going on? But it was no, the game is wonderful, man. Kudos to Playground Games.
Dude, Mega, with you talking about performance, I gotta say, one of the things when I went back in and played it again, it felt so much like it already felt smooth. It was already a great game. I don't want to like downplay, what the game was at launch all the way through until it got this patch. But after it got the enhancement, I gotta say, like, everything just felt smoother to me. Is that something that you kind of experienced, even though you were sliding all over the place? Like the frame rate and everything, I know it's 30 frames per second, but everything just felt really, really smooth. Like the machine wasn't struggling at all to run this thing, man.
No, every game that I've played on the X, everything runs better, with a patch or not.
You know what that is? That's frame rate timing.
Yeah.
So if a game is frame rate dependent on the input, which a lot of games are, I would say the majority of the games are, not all though. If your frame rate timing is more precise, right, then you get better response out of that. So that's why it's, just like when you say higher frame rate is better. Well, if the frame rate timing is inconsistent, then you have inconsistent controls at a higher frame rate. You don't necessarily have more predictable controls, right? So more consistently you can hit those frame rate timing perfectly, the smoother a game's going to feel, and then then it can get amplified obviously when the frame rate's higher. So that's kind of how that works.
Nice, nice. I mean, that's
it's just in a game, and you got to remember this game is 2 years old, almost be about 2 years old now, and it holds up that well. It looks better than the competition. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's wild that this game.
Are you talking about the Crew too? I think that's what you're talking about, right?
No. I'm talking about that GT Sport that has to get a patch to get rain and other in a single player.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, regardless of that, I mean, it's amazing what Playground Games is doing, and I look forward to when we go to the next topic talking about what endeavors are next.
I figure we get through the patch real quick and the enhancement. Even though, man, they did such a great job. I know they got the dev kits earlier, because they're considered within that circle of first party, and Turn 10 got them, and they kind of brought it down to Playground as well. So they got it earlier. And, a lot of people were asking, well, how come it took so long and stuff? Now you can kind of see, they really took their time and went in and worked on a lot of things to make sure it was as optimized as possible for your 4K television. And even in my case, for the super sampling down to HD. I mean, they did an incredible job, in my opinion.
Yeah, they did. Also, even with the whole 4K enhancement, even in an article from Playground Games, they gave the explanation of why they went with the enhancements of making the visuals better than going for the 60. And I seen that it was on M4G. Forgot exactly what the actual the actual article came from, but it was in M4G, and you could see it. And they just like, look, we can do a patch later, and that's in the works. But right now, we just want to show what the X is capable of doing, and just show you how beautiful this game can actually be at its max settings.
Yeah,
but the game still plays better though. Regardless of better effects, it still plays better.
It plays a lot better. Yeah,
because that's the biggest argument when people want to really push the whole frame rate per second narrative. Is if a game still plays better with better frame rate timing, that's a win too, right? I mean, we can't ignore those sort of things. In regards to that, I don't know. I think people investing too much in the wrong things. That's for sure.
Well, Don, I know. Forza Horizon 3, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the first real Forza Horizon that you actually got into and you really liked playing, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so I know you played, the enhancement and everything like that. Why don't you go in and let us know what you think about the enhancement, about what you think they have done. I will also point something out before you kind of take over on this is in terms of performance, there was one thing that I kept seeing in the game before the patch, which is kind of like a pop-in when it came to like in the jungle with the trees, the shadows from the trees. You would kind of, when you slow down, you would see kind of like the shadows pop in with a higher resolution. I don't really see that now when it comes to the patch with the 1X. There's a lot less kind of like that shadow popping and stuff. But let me know if you saw that, and what do you like about this patch, man?
One of the things, it drives home what I've been talking about for a long time, and people are having a hard time like accepting certain things, the harsh realities of game development, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're talking about games, we want optimized console experiences. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we're console gamers. I think that's a universal truth.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, we'd be playing on other platforms like PC and stuff like that. So we want console optimized experiences. Now, understand that people want options, right? Some people want that option, right? But the harsh reality is you can't optimize both experiences 100% at the same time. And console experiences, they go much more in depth than what toggles and switches they give you on a PC variant for you to hit certain like jumps and performances to match other pieces of hardware. So when you're having console gaming, it is a much more refined process, and they go on this. Playground Games actually said it's a full custom setting that you cannot set on your PC. You don't have this option on your PC, right? So some things are just in between areas that you just don't really have those sort of options. The other thing is, if a game is optimized around a particular frame rate and you have the base hardware and you're going to the more powerful hardware, leave it to the developer what they want to do, right? They know where they had to cut back on that game to run on that piece of hardware. So just let them loose. Let them do what they can. Let them show you what they can do, and give it a chance in regards to that. And then I would say is, I would have been just as happy if Playground Games decided to do 60 frames or 30 frames game. If that's what their vision was, and that's where they felt like the game fell short, I would have supported them in that, because they know what that game is capable of more than anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. So let them do that. And then if they want to make an additional experience, an additional option down the road with console optimization in mind, not this kind of watered down sort of experience, a true optimized console experience with 60 frames per second. I think if you're a pro 60 frames per second person, I think you would want the optimized experience, the custom setting that you didn't get on your PC, and that sort of effort and that sort of attention to detail being applied to your preference, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things I think people just need to keep in mind. So I like the fact that they went with their vision. This is what their vision, and their vision is going to be different than the next developer. The next developer might choose to do something else, right? But they focused very the level of detail, pushing that far out, increasing the shadow quality, cleaning all that up. People always say there's more motion blur. It's a higher quality motion blur more than a more motion blur is what I would say. So it keeps the image cleaner.
Yeah, that's what I saw too, man, when it came to that, because I heard people talking about the motion blur and stuff like that. It just seemed to be a lot crisper, especially on the edges where where it really kind of like blurs out to really give you that sense of speed. Like it felt like it was just a lot more, crisper, a lot more kind of like.
It's a cleaner transition in the blur. So so people take things out of context, right? It's not just more; it's higher quality. It's really more or less what it is, right? Mm-hmm. And then, and I noticed the accuracy in the controls as well. Like that's not just make believe; it's actually there. I almost kind of laughed when someone linked me a Digital Foundry video, and I always watch it because people are going to ask me questions later about what they said. It was interesting. They assume the latency difference between frame rates, but they didn't test it, it seems like, the way they said it in the wording. So it was interesting when they approached them about the 60 frames. They said, well, we could have done it. Right. So it's one of those things, like, it just shows me more and more that Digital Foundry is not willing to do the proper analysis through and through and what they're offering to their customer base. And so,
Dick.
Yeah, I mean, good old Richard. I mean, but it's just more and more of that, and even the reflections. Like what I noticed
those are insane, man.
What I notice, especially with more and more, I work in the 4K and the HDR environment in my own work, and seeing other games in that particular thing. There is something. It's hard to make it tangible, but like in 4K HDR. And this is kind of what you're missing, Bot. I'm not trying to downplay your.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
But in all seriousness, like materials they're more defined in the 3D world. They really are, and there's small finite details you just are not picking up unless it's that native resolution with the higher HDR. But you can't just do that alone. Obviously, you have to make high quality shaders to make that all kind of pop and make it work, right? You have to have high quality textures for all that stuff to work as well, right? So it didn't just come with the native resolution, but when it all kind of comes together, there's so much finite detail that you can see in this version. Because I saw from the standard fat, I had the standard fat when I bought Horizon. I bought the S, right? So I saw the transition in my TV at the same time. So I got the S in the HDR, so I saw the difference there. And now I'm seeing the jump in the same game with the X.
Wow,
with the
so
HDR.
you got to see all three. You got to see like the evolution through the 3 consoles, man.
Absolutely, in regards to that, and each one runs and plays great, and the experience just gets better when you spend more money, and that's how it should be with anything in life. If you spend more money, you get a better experience, and that's just kind of how it works.
I got you, man. Well, let's move on to Predator, because I do want to talk about that supposed other game that Playground might be working on. But let's get Predator. Have you played Forza Horizon 3? Like before and after the patch? Do you like racing games, man?
I'm more of a close track racer. I mentioned that Forza, Horizon. This last series was the first Horizon series I played. I did enjoy it. I did pop it in. I played a couple of races. I didn't get too in depth in the weeds and the appearance of it, but going back to what Don was saying about the Digital Foundry video, like anyone notice like they popped that shit out like literally like hours, less than an hour, maybe after the whole patch came out? Like, was that like? Do you think they got a version early of it, or
I
do you
think they might have
just
got one early, man? To be honest,
I think they read the crib sheet before you even played the game, right? No, I'm not joking. It's like this is how I feel about them just in general, and goes with every game, not PC, Xbox, and even PlayStation. I think they do a lot of like writing and write things up prior to you getting the patch.
Yeah.
And then they'll play a little bit of patch, and they'll improv a little bit in there, and kind of feel that like that kind of feeling like kind of that's how they do it. It's less. It's about, I would say, 40% analyzing, 30% analyzing, and the rest is opinion. Improv.
See, this is where I love bringing up Digital Foundry around the Don, because you guys know for the most part Don tries to be very even keeled. Like he shares his opinions and stuff, but at the end of the day, he's in this industry, so he says certain things. But when it comes to Digital Foundry, he's like, screw that, it's only 30% analysis, 70% opinion. Like, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, man.
Like Mega was saying this earlier, because I've been playing more Forza Motorsports than I have Horizon. So like when I came back to Horizon, like my car seemed to like just be like off the fucking chain. Like I was like, man, this thing's like super fast right now for some reason. I'm still using that Viper I was using before, and like it just seemed like the game was moving a lot faster, even though it's at 30 frames. But like it just seemed like it was my car was moving a lot faster for whatever reason. Getting used to controls again seemed a little quirky, but it was. I mean, it's a great looking upgrade. It's like one of the better ones outside of The Witcher that I've seen so far. That I've seen so far on all Xbox One X enhanced games so far. So I mean, those guys did a really good job on pulling everything they possibly could out of it. I really hope they do come back and patch it with the 60 frames to shut people up.
Yeah, nice, man, nice. I want to give a couple shout outs on in the chat. First of all to Daz, Vogel, Stinking Corpse, kind of like our real hardcore usual suspects. Huge shout out to you guys. You guys are making the chat live, man. Not only that, shout out to the Iron Lords podcast, because they are in here as well. Gaming Addict was in here before. I don't know if he's still here, but huge shout out to them, and huge shout out to Lady Foxfire, who just joined us as well. What is going on, Fox? It is good to see you guys in the chat. Now, with this being said, and we stopped with Predator, so we're gonna start with Predator. You kind of see the talent when it comes to this development team, Playground Games, and basically Eurogamer came out and I guess you could say semi-confirmed that Playground is working on the next iteration of Fable. Now, I know we went through on Crossfire talking about this, but this is so damn interesting, and like I said, it just seems like Playground Games is on fire right now. Pred, what do you think about Playground, who has only been known as, doing kind of like the Horizon series, only been known, to revolve their game around cars? What do you think about them kind of taking over the Fable franchise? Um, Basically, until there's an announcement, there's always speculation, but everybody in the industry is saying they're doing that. Do you think this is a good idea, man?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like you got to think their track record so far has been outstanding. With the Horizon series, they've been able to produce this game every year, pretty much the same time every year, and their consistency, I think, is what kind of sold the Xbox division on getting them to do it, and getting them to open up their own studio, whatever, to do what they had to do to make this game. Um, from my understanding, Playground is based in London, so I think they're going to get that good satire from the UK. That I guess that
That
Fable appeal
English
from
sense
it.
of
Yeah,
humor.
and that's what made Fable fun, like just getting that in there too. So hopefully they continue that. Like I don't have any problem with them picking up. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be another company getting it. I can't think of the name of the other studio that's there. Maybe Studio Gobo or something else was going to get this game, but
Yeah, we were hearing that.
or
We were hearing
Rare
that earlier as well.
or
Gobo.
Rare. I thought I heard Rare's name thrown around a couple of years ago too. But like everybody has their wants and needs, so they think would make it. But I mean, but um with them, like every game they've come out with them and the guys that do the Forza Motorsport series, like they're always able to pull the power out of the Xbox 4K 60 or 1080p 60 back in the original Xbox One days. So they know what they're doing. Even this like enhancement they're doing has been like one of the best so far. So I don't have any problem with it. Like obviously, making, and Don can probably talk on this, like making the game as far as the fat fingering and stuff in, that doesn't change whatever game you make. It's getting a story together and getting the graphic artists together and getting that part of it done. We talked last night on Crossfire about the engine they're going to use and stuff like that. So there's a lot of questions as far as what they're going to do with the franchise, if it's going to be a complete ground up thing, or if maybe they've been working on it already and they might be a little further along than we think. But like, I just really hope it doesn't screw up their timeline with the Forza series. I know they have a brand new studio, 200 plus people working on this game, working on a Fable. So it shouldn't. It's probably a whole brand new team working on this, but that would be my only concern as far as how it handles, how it impacts the Forza series, the Horizon series. But I don't think it will long term. I think it's going to be fine. As long as they keep I was playing Fable this morning in the original Fable
and the Fable anniversary, or
the anniversary, sorry, the anniversary. So and there was like so much in that game that I didn't notice and recognize back then. Like it's obviously it's dated graphics wise,
definitely.
But the combat of the original Fable was just so simple, but it worked. And I really hope they just continue. There's a lot of things about the Fable, like the lore of Fable, I want them to keep. I want it to be a little darker, and but still funny, So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it, especially with them coming out of just vehicles and making car games into doing something story based like this, story based RPG. So.
Yeah, and I do want to reiterate exactly what Predator said, and people in the chat were saying it as well. This is a second team. I think they're still hiring. I think they're aiming for like 250 people or developers or so. I think they're still in the hiring process. Don't quote me on that, guys. I will say when I'm just kind of guesstimating here, and I think they're still in the hiring process. I'm not sure if they have completely filled out that development team. But let's move on. Let's hit Dark. Dark, man. What do you think about Playground Games kind of like heading the new iteration of Fable, whether it's a reboot, whether it's Fable 4? And with that being said, because I know, like I said, you're a huge Forza fan, you definitely don't think that Forza Horizon or Motorsport is niche at all. I want to know, what do you think Playground will bring to the table? Kind of like their own. What do you think? Like, what will say Playground Games in a new iteration of Fable, man?
That's kind of a
question,
tough. That's kind of a tough question because
you will be graded on this as well. So
they haven't really done anything besides a car game. But as we know from history, a lot of companies have started out with car games and have been successful in doing other things.
Like, is there a specific
Bethesda was one of them, I think, and then there was Rockstar was one of them, but before they became actually Rockstar.
Nice.
It was, yeah. I've been reading up on my gaming, man.
I hear this, dude. You're dropping knowledge right now.
But I think they definitely have something that they're gonna do that's gonna be special, man. I think they'll pull it off because I think they know that there's a lot of fans out there that really want this game, and I think they'll really try to bring something to the table that Lionhead Studios couldn't bring, and I think they'll make promises that they'll actually keep this time around.
Out, man. People are gonna kill you on social media right now for saying that, man. Oh damn.
But Peter Molyneux, he made a lot of good decisions. He made a lot of bad decisions. He didn't really give us a lot of promises that he intended to give, and I think
at the end of the day, he gave a quality game, right?
I mean, he did. He definitely gave a quality game, but I think at the end of the day, I think Playground Games will do something. It even says that it'll be an open world Fable game, so hopefully it's not as linear as the first three games. Hopefully it's a little bit more.
Oh, damn, you want it blown wide open world, huh?
Yeah, I want something like The Witcher. I want something like
go ahead, I hate
to say it, but it's even something like Horizon Zero Dawn. That kind of open world.
You don't hate to say it, man. Stop lying.
I mean, the game's good. It's just not. It's not like
Horizon
awesome
Zero Dawn is a great looking game. The combat is good. The only thing was the side quests were really mundane, man. That was the biggest thing.
Right, exactly. So I mean, if they take something out of Ubisoft's playbook with Assassin's Creed Origins, I think they'll have something really special.
All right. Well, when it comes to Playground Games and kind of like their essence, and I think I said this last night on Crossfire as well, was I think somebody brought it up during Crossfire. I can't tell sometimes because people kind of go crazy on that podcast. But if you look at what not Horizon Zero Dawn, what Forza Horizon does, right, is they have this kind of like seamless transition into a truly kind of like living world with multiple people, racing around and just kind of cruising around and stuff like that. I feel like, with Xbox being multiplayer centric, right, you still have a great single player experience coming with Fable. I strongly believe that. But I also think that they will integrate kind of like to seamlessly transition into a living world where multiple heroes are going from town to town and interacting and doing things. And interaction was a big part of Fable 3, at least, where you can marry people online and all sorts of craziness. And I think they'll take that core that was Horizon with that seamless transition, and I can see them putting that into the reboot for Fable. And I'm really excited if they do something like that, because that to me would be amazing. It screams Xbox Live, kind of like the heart of the community over here, and still to give a strong kind of like story, which is what Fable is known for. I mean, that to me would be the epitome of Playground making a Fable. But on that note, I wanna go over to K Mega. Let's see if somehow he can reference The Witcher in this. But what do you think about Playground taking over? Do you think this is gonna work? Even though I know Playground at their source, they're known for racing games. They are making a separate, like a second team of like 250 developers. What do you think about this move? And do you think that are you excited for possibly a new Fable coming through?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you talk about the Xbox games that epitomize. Well, the games that epitomize Xbox. You got to have Halo, Gears, and then actually, really, what you should say is Halo, Fable, Gears, Forza. Or maybe, or maybe,
that rolls.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe, you know what I'm saying, Forza came out, but I think Forza came out before Gears, didn't it? So, but I didn't play Forza until Forza 4. So, Motorsports 4. So, but regardless, the fact that you know, that's a staple of Xbox. So, absolutely, you have to have Fable in your gaming library, each generation, in my thought process, because it's the fact that it's just like no other, just like every other gaming games that come on every other console. They have their slew of exclusives, and Fable is very important. So for Losing Lionhead Studios, a lot of people thought that the Fable franchise was dead. I knew better. There's reasons why a lot of these companies hold on to those IPs. They don't let them go out and run off. That's why I still, to my heart, in my hearts of hearts, feel that Scalebound will make a return. I know Delilah HD, she hates me saying that. She's like, "Where's your proof?" It's just in my heart. It's in my heart. It's in my heart. I just feel it is. But
thank you, Megan. God bless you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Scalebound will return.
Hold on, Xbox does hold that. They own that title. They own Scalebound, so
they own Scalebound, man. Scalebound will make a return. And look, there's a lot of things that you know, a lot of people like to go after Phil because he's being too nice, but there's a little dog in him because of the fact that he comes back and he says something once he gets irritated. You can tell by when he says, "Look, PlayStation will not ever have that power narrative again as long as they had." And look, they made a promise to that he's made other promises. He's talking about the games aspect. The games will be coming. That there's, you know, for the fanboys going out their way saying some other crazy shit, I don't understand it. But with this, Fable is gonna come back, and it's gonna be great. And look at what Playground Games, they made a game. I don't know if it ever came out. I just know that they worked on it where it was an open world type of game where it's a guy jumping around fighting big ass ogres. And then you didn't hear anything else about that game. But I don't know if that game still works. Yeah, they were showing that there was a game that, and people were saying, "Oh, look, play why Xbox." That was kind of started the whole narrative of why Xbox wouldn't get Playground Games, because they were working on this game and they showed the gameplay of it. It looked pretty cool. Graphically, it didn't look all that great because I guess it was still in the alpha stage or whatever, but it was this guy running around and he was jumping on these buildings, and these big ass orcs was running around, and this dude was like one of the last of his kind to kill these big ass orcs that comes every so often. So it looked pretty dope, but just for what they do with their open world is great. Also bringing in people from other from 2K Games, from Grand Theft Auto, to work on the game and making a big studio. So you know this game is going to be AAA to the max. Graphically, it's going to be stunning. It's going to be, they want to show it off on the X. I believe that DirectX 12 is going to be showed. It's going to be implemented into it. All of that goodness. And I feel that the game is going to be open world, since you hear the narrative about a lot of people saying that, well, Horizon Zero Dawn has got Xbox being inspired to make a new Fable, which is the dumbest shit.
Dude, they were planning on making a new Fable before Horizon, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the whole aspect of the whole universe of what you see in Horizon Zero Dawn is a beautiful game, hiding in the weeds and killing battery charged buffalo. It's great. It's great. But it's a beautiful looking game. In the woods. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's the thing of it. It's just, I think it's the way they're talking about how open the world is to where you can go different places. And that would be a welcome added feature to Fable. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just you know, kind of change it up. It's kind of like what they're doing with God of War. It's just kind of making me a little nervous. But still, it's a whole different perspective.
I'm nervous about that, dude.
It's a whole different type of, it's a reboot pretty much. And why not reboot Fable, especially when you're going to show the talents of what Playground Games can do. So I'm super excited for it. Absolutely.
You know, the funny thing is, there's people, you know, the haters out there. They're like, well, you know, Playground, they only made racing games and stuff like that. But if you look at Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a game that kind of like the stables really put on that pedestal. It's made by Guerrilla Games. What was Guerrilla Games known for before Horizon Zero Dawn?
Killzone, yeah, a boring shooter.
Exactly.
They were trying to make they were trying to make a game like Halo. So as they was talking about that this game was being that Fable is being inspired by Horizon Zero Dawn, Halo inspired Killzone. Hell out of here, come on, and Gears of War. So
that's what I'm saying. So like at the end of the day, there was certain people when it came to Guerrilla that were a little kind of like cautious about them kind of doing this open world game. But every time the gameplay came around, you know, big gaming media was all over it, and they're like, "Well, it looks like they're doing a great job and all this good stuff." Dude, it can happen. You know, developers are developers. If they're you know, developing a popular title that's a part of a franchise, I mean, that's what they do mostly. Now they're building this new team. They're going in for open world RPG, kind of like humorous. I hope what Predator said with it being a little bit darker. Yeah, I hope it's a little bit darker. That was one of the things. And kind of like the first Fable and some of the things in Fable 2, like when it got dark and the werewolves started howling and it got creepy and you got the moon going through like the trees and stuff like that, real creepy atmosphere. I thought that was like some of the best parts of Fable. And I hope they really kind of emphasize that. But at the end of the day, we're going to see. I think they're going to do a really good job. My thing when it comes to Playground Games is their attention to detail. All right, their attention to detail when it comes to Horizon and stuff like that. You know they are going to bring that over. You know that's going to be one of, kind of like the, one of the priorities. Even though that it's the second team doing this, one of the priorities is going to be that attention to detail. That's something that you can put in as a model for your company. Is like we pay attention to the littlest things and we develop, you know, all the way down to the most minute detail. And that's something I see Playground Games doing with Horizon. And I expect nothing less when it comes to the Fable franchise. With that being said,
well, hold on. Let me say this as well. If there's any concern, oh, come on, man.
No, I said go ahead, man.
Oh, I thought you said no. I was like, wait, I'm not Artemis here. I'm not Doc Arter. What's going on here? Anyway. So the thing I was going to say, the only thing that I can't be that will give me any concern is Fable has to have that dry
English
humor. That it has to have it. You cannot. That's one thing about what I talk about with God of War is that I don't want the game look like it's lost its core, and you can't with Fable. That was to me part of its
that
core.
Monty Python type humor.
Yeah, it's got to keep that. But I do want it to be dark because that's also a big thing that they say the Xbox games don't have is any darkness. So but you have to keep that English humor. But that would be my only concern because you would make a beautiful game just like Horizon Zero Dawn, but then yet you can miss on a lot of opportunities because the side quests just won't appeal to you, and that's where The Witcher shines the most because them side.
Damn, I started The Witcher, it only took like 2 minutes before it had fucking Geralt and Yennefer butt ass naked in front of the camera and stuff. I'm like, damn,
I love it.
You know what's funny? I was recording Witcher gameplay for the show, and I got to one of those scenes. I was like, nope, can't use this.
Can't use that.
See, you think Witcher 3 toned it down. The Witcher 2 is really real. It's raw. It's raw. I mean, it's going in sex positions, everything, Jack. It is raw. And also on Fable, I want to have my multiple wives. So you know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and do that, man. Let's do that.
All right, well, let's see. Who are we? The Don. We have to hear what the Don thinks about Playground doing a Fable. Don, I don't even know. Are you a Fable fan?
I've dabbled in it, but it's never been a franchise that really drawn me. And to be honest,
I'll play Fable once in a while at parties.
Oh wow!
No, like it just the mechanics have always been kind of just didn't have much depth to me. And I, the funny thing is people talk about cartoon art style, and I like writing in games, but I just felt like the cartoon art style didn't have a style in the first one. It was just kind of I don't know. It was wonky. It wasn't very good. Fable Legends had a good art style. I was actually kind of excited where they were going to go with that because it kind of had its own look to it.
Yeah,
but
that was beautiful game.
It really did. As we're watching, basically Predator's gameplay here, but I've been excited for what Playground Games is doing before all these rumors of it being a Microsoft title. And the reason why I say that was when I played Horizon 3. They won me over because yes, it's an arcade racing game, but it in a lot of ways sometimes it plays like an RPG, like the upgrades on the car and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It plays less of like your traditional car upgrades and more like an RPG. And then how the open world environment actually, because the open world doesn't always win me over either. You have to have like purpose in that open world or drive to go somewhere, not just just be random for the sake of being random or open for the sake of being open.
Mm-hmm.
And they did really well with that when it came to Forza Horizon 3. So I feel like that RPG DNA is in them in general. And then you kind of hear about them rebooting Fable. I'm like, okay, I kind of would like another studio to take a crack at it, because I think the original team Lionhead had some good ideas, but I don't think they had the ability to execute on those good ideas.
When it comes to Lionhead, and don't get me wrong, quality development team, yeah, they did Fable 1, 2, and 3, but if you remember, they did Fable 3 as well, and that was the latest iteration of Fable, and that was the one that a lot of people were like, about.
And the journey. Don't forget about that awesomeness.
They
always the Kinect game.
But they always had that history though of promising a lot and under delivering when it comes with their final product. It's still a good game, and that's the reason why it did okay. But it the things that Peter Molyneux would say, you would never get that, right? And you got to think, this goes back to probably what they were planning on doing, getting canceled. You got to think about, like, if you're a Phil, right, and you have a team that always promised certain things, and a lot of things hit the cutting room floor, and you're not really getting the game that you paid for, regardless if it's a commercial success or not. You got to feel like that game fell short of what it really could have been.
Mm.
And you didn't really get what you paid for it as far as that goes. So I want a team that can deliver, and I think Playground Games is one of those people. So if they do actually make it, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for what they do. I hope they actually take the original art assets from Legends, because it's the first time the characters had a lot more variety to them.
Yeah, I think I heard something where they might not do that, but I
don't know.
That. I see them pulling. I mean, they have a library over there to just kind of pull from. I don't.
Well, even if they take those and then expand on it,
mm-hmm.
like that's great too, right? But the thing with like the Fable worlds always felt like a lot of the characters that you interact with were all kind of cookie cutterish, right? And people's main character that you play really wasn't that different, outside of the typical things like the Moonlight would change their skin color.
My adopted brother's character was mad different. He went into town in Fable 3 and everybody freaking ran. They left town like he was this huge woman with horns that like pale and scarred up, man.
That's when you stay in the Moonlight, I think it was Moonlight. You get more evil looking like that with the horns and all that sort of stuff and the scarring.
You gotta make bad decisions too. He was
bad decisions part of it as well.
Person in that game,
yeah.
So that was the cool part of the game too, man.
But yeah, I mean, those are good elements. Those are the humor was good. The elements of like just like you interact in the world in night and dark, and there's consequences to that. Good decisions versus bad decisions. They have a lot to work on. I just feel like they just need a better team to deliver it, and I hope Playground Games is that company. We'll see.
Nice. Now I've been waiting for this part of the show to say something that's probably gonna piss a lot of people off, guys. I'm gonna say that if Lionhead was still around and they announced the new Fable with Lionhead, it wouldn't be as hyped as what's going on right now with the Playground team being announced as the next people to head a Fable. And I actually like this because I feel like Fable needed a reboot. I felt like they went way too fast into the future. They went way too fast from swords and magic to swords magic mixed with a little, couple guns here and there to like Fable 3, you can beat the entire game using a rifle and a blunderbuss and stuff like that. I felt like they went way too fast into the future, and I'm more excited now than if they just announced a Fable 4 from Lionhead Studios. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Oh no, I totally agree. I mean,
you agree? That's
yeah, no, I agree. Because Microsoft kept having too many issues. Peter Molyneux was a dick, and you know what I'm saying. And even and look at all the other stuff that he was doing with Oh, I just got something popped up on my screen talking about antivirus protection. Something. Okay, what's going on? Like, what? Is somebody getting me?
Your computer been out late at nights, man.
Yeah, man. Anyway, so basically it's just that they just kept butting heads, and I don't know, and you've seen that the stuff that Peter Molyneux was doing. He made some successes, but then he made a lot of fails as well. And I think that it's like Don said, it's new blood is good sometimes. I mean, it was good to see what they did with Horizon Zero Dawn with Guerrilla Games. Show their worth. I've never been opposed of developers doing something different if they, if they want to. I don't want to see a developer being hampered to do it, but it's just like when people say that they want to see, 343 and Coalition work on something else. Well, if those universes are so big that they're fine where they're at, but let these other studios show their worth, and they got a big project and they feel that they're confident in doing it, so let it rip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about it. I mean, we'll see how good the game will be story wise. I think the game will be solid graphically and control really well, but no, I think that it would have been lackluster. It would have been another reason for fanboys to go out and say, "Oh, who cares about Fable?"
Wow, just another Fable. Like,
exactly.
So let me ask you guys this question. So let's say they do a traditional Fable, because that's what everyone wants, right? Is a traditional Fable game, kind of a soft reboot, I guess is the best way to describe it. But once if they kept Fable Legends as the multiplayer mode. So it's an alternative mode, because that is part of Xbox's quiver, right?
See, that depends right there, because I would take that as a multiplayer mode, but you still got to have that interaction that we've gotten used to from Fable 2 and 3, where like you in terms
but that's the main single player, right? So the main meat and potatoes of the game is going to be a traditional Fable game, but it's not like Fable Legends was too far off from being finished.
No, I thought it was a cool idea. And
so if they use the same art assets, they use all that same sort of stuff, it's just a good multiplayer mode that kind of supplements the game even more. And that's something Fable has always kind of sucked at, is anything multiplayer related, and that's what Xbox is also known for. So it's just food for thought. I mean, more game for the same amount of money. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, yeah, you can't really go wrong with that. And something I like that they were talking about in Fable Legends, that when they first kind of like announced it, they said in terms of being the villain, you would be able to use your Xbox app on like a tablet or something like that, and you could be the villain from there, because it's like over the head view, putting down traps and stuff like that. So if they added that into Fable, whether you downloaded it separately with an internet connection or something like that, and they still had those features, that is an absolutely huge Fable game. Single player experience, interaction with other people, in a living world, and then having that 4 versus 1, good versus evil type thing all put together. That is a huge game right there.
You haven't seen a companion app with a tablet in ages. Like,
yeah, I know.
Battlefield.
It's good to look back and just kind of get the little hearts in your eyes. Like, man, they could do that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What would be funny is that just occasionally drop into someone's like main Fable campaign and basically be the villain. Like, occasionally, just drop in and out, right? So you can just go troll Xbot if you wanted to, or
troll me, man.
Those sort of things. So that would be fun in itself, and then make it seamless so you can hop back out. I'm sure there's plenty of ideas that they're kicking around the office for, but I just feel like there's, outside of Fable Legends is not my favorite game. It really isn't. But I feel like there's elements of Fable Legends that are useful, but that are outside of just art assets. and I'm somebody that creates art assets. So coming from me, that I just feel like there's little things that could have been grabbed from there that are useful, that are unique, and that fit in Fable, allows Fable to kind of stretch its wings a little bit more outside of the main campaign or the way the campaigns have gone in the past. So I don't know. That's just kind of my take on it. I just feel like there's not everything about Legends was scrappable. I feel like there was more salvageable from that game.
Yeah, like and like I said, I had fun when I played the alpha. It looked gorgeous for being in such early kind of like production and stuff, and watching it being built. It was something else that was really cool with being in like the closed alpha and stuff. Seeing like everything get built around in the world. I mean, it was really a cool experience. I know O Snaps was looking forward to Fable Legends. She never really got into the traditional Fable games, and she was excited about that. So she was kind of like heartbroken when Legends was canceled. But hopefully, you know, a breath of fresh air, new developer. Let's see what they're gonna do. I feel it's gonna be a Fable reboot. I feel that's what needs to happen. So I guess, you know, over time we're gonna see exactly what happens with that title. But guys, we are winding down here. Basically, we got through the topics. Everybody shared their opinion. It was an awesome show. The chat was on fire, except for Prophet, man, talking shit about my Halo. I don't know how I feel about that.
I saw that trash. I was just like,
Prophet's my boy too, man. Don't get it twisted. Like, but man, you can't talk about my Halo like that, dude. No. But no, on that note, man, we got to, you know, like a 40-year-old with a comb over, man, we got to get our plugs in, and then, you know, we got to end the show and get back into gaming because it is Saturday night, guys. So I want to start with the angry otter himself, Dark Optimus. I know you have another live show that you do every week. Let people know about that, and let people know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live. It's the same name. You can also check me out every Thursday night on the Quest Podcast at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, check us out there. It was always a fun show, man. As always, you know, we had good topics tonight. So, yeah, I'm out.
Nice. He's saying that because he contributed to one of the key topics tonight. That's why he said we had good topics.
I contributed to two of them, damn it. And we didn't get to one.
Maybe next week, man. I don't know. Yo, next on the list, we have the developer himself on the panel. A good friend of all of ours and a really cool guy on Xbox Live. It is the Don. Don, you know the deal. Let them know where they can get a hold of you, all that good stuff.
The best way is just follow me on Twitter. The link's down below. If you're not following me already, go ahead and hit me up there. If you want to follow me on Xbox Live, it's pretty much the same handle, but no underscore between the Don and KTR. Outside of that, if I'm doing stuff with like the Dev and the Gamer, things like that, if you follow me there, you'll see when I post it, and you'll catch all the content I do. And also, I'm doing a little bit more work on Happy Little Polygons, and you know that's pretty much the spill.
Oh my goodness, I'm really hating YouTube. I updated our description like 3 times and it doesn't save for some reason. I gotta go and do that crap again. Damn it. With that being said, yo, Predator, man, I appreciate you coming in. I know you didn't feel good, you know, battling the flu and everything like that, but you came in, you really fleshed out the show, man. You gave some really strong opinions. It was a lot of fun talking games. So why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you? And yes, I will update the description one more time, and hopefully it stays this time.
Predator underscore H2OS on Xbox Live, on PlayStation, on Steam. I'm on Switch as well. I also have my channel, the Xbox After Party. Typically try to do something on Sundays or at least once a week. So make sure you guys check out my channel as well. And obviously next podcast, Shop Podcast on Thursdays, and becoming a regular guest on Crossfire on Fridays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely bringing another element to Crossfire as well. It's cool having you there because, you know, I do a couple live shows per week, and to have Predator there on another show that I do, it's really cool, man.
Thanks for having me on again, and hopefully I'll be able to speak a little bit better next week.
Yeah, get better, dude. Definitely. K Mega, I hope you got your scroll ready, man. Let people know where they can find you, you know, what you've been up to. Man, you know the deal.
Yeah, man. Just the usual things, man. Big shout out to Intro Media Gaming.
Wow, you put that
I said
first
that
this
first.
time.
I put that first this time. You know, we got a couple of new members, man. They got I think a lot of people got introduced to Bloody Knuckles. Really intelligent guy. Him and his crew, they got a podcast that they do called the Smash Podcast, and it's talking about comic books and things like that. There's a new guy, part of Intro Media Gaming, and the GRG podcast channel is back up. So they post stuff there. And so is my boy 108 Dragons, and you know
they're hungry, man.
Yeah, they're hungry, and
they're tenacious, man. I like that. So
yeah, and you know, I put the Dev and the Gamer up there. So yeah, it's live. So for everybody that thought it was dead and dormant, no, I was been working on trying to get people to come back on and do some stuff. I think Infamous might start putting some more of her streams and stuff back on there. But anyway, the GRG podcast every Friday night after Crossfire. It's pretty much the late night show after, you know what I'm saying, after the main course. You know what I'm saying, we do our thing and have a blast doing it. Appreciate all the feedback that we get so far. This week, our guest is going to be the guys from G4G, Moxie and Avers. I think that's how you say his name. Yeah, they're going to be on as our special guest this coming up week. So I can't wait to get them on and pick their brain, and then whenever me and Don do our thing, we'll do it. Of course, BGST, and you know, sometimes when I get a chance to do multiplayer, I'll be there. But yeah, that's it. And then of course the next podcast, and then tonight I'm going to be streaming again, and we're doing the shooters tonight. I got it up. Look like Halo 5 is going to be the winner for the first game that we're going to be playing tonight.
I might have to drop in on that, man.
Yeah, come on and drop on in, man. We'll start it. It will be 11 o'clock your time. It'll be 10 o'clock my time. Yeah, and then
I'll try not to be asleep by then, man. I have a habit of falling asleep after the show.
yeah. So I haven't played Halo in a minute, so I'm going to be rusty as hell. But it's going to be fun. And then the second game that we'll play, I don't know if it's going to be COD or if it's going to be something else. But don't forget to check that out.
If you do Halo, and if I jump in, can I be the leader and put the maps in and all that good stuff? Or
yeah, I'll let you do that.
Right,
I'll let you do that.
I'm good at navigating, you know.
Yeah, you can navigate. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah.
I will get you back for that Injustice 2 to buy.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
Dude, if we're on the opposite teams, it's gonna happen, dog. It's gonna.
No, I'm gonna get warmed up, and then I'm gonna start popping head over there. I love that sound when you shoot it with that pistol.
Dude, anyway. it is the best headshot sound in video games. Let's be real, man.
Yes, it's so great. So yeah, so check out that stream, and thank you guys for rocking out with us. And then one last thing before I go, it's Mr. Kima. We all know him as something else. He's changed his name on us, but he said that I guess that State of Decay 2 is going to be in 4K. So that's huge news. So all right. Have a good night, everyone.
Nice. And State of Decay 2 is one of those games I am highly anticipating this year. State of Decay 1 was great, but one thing that a lot of people said, and I agree with, was it felt like it screamed multiplayer. And so with State of Decay 2, we are going to have multiplayer. We are going to survive a zombie apocalypse together, guys. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, let's wind the show down. Yo, thank you again to the chat, to the community. You guys are absolutely amazing. I say it just about every Saturday. You guys inspire us to come together every Saturday and give you the best, most entertaining, most knowledgeable podcast that we can offer. And we thank you guys for all your support. But it is Saturday. We got to get the controllers in our hands. I have to not go to sleep. I'm gonna make some more coffee, man, because I want to tear up K Mega in Halo 5 real quick. Yo, he showed me up. Was it last weekend? On Injustice 2. I was talking a lot of shit, and he beat me, man. I wouldn't say he whooped my ass, but he beat me. So I gotta go do that. Like I say every Saturday, guys. We will see you next Saturday on the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace. I'm coming for you, UK Dazarus.
Hey,
Come on,
man.
Yeah.
Did you see my game pitch for The Witcher Oklahoma style?